What's up? What's up? It's the Arthur Moats Experience with Deke. I'm Arthur Moats, and that's my main man, Deke.
What's good, dude?
Man, it's a vibe today, bro. It's a vibe today because, number one, it is a Monday. In fact, I'm calling it a Victory Monday. Okay? I'll get into a little bit more of those details. But, you know, it's Monday. Feels good. Weather actually cooperated with us. Wasn't nothing crazy out here. No ice storms, no snowstorms, no any other type of storms that we could be dealing with. Obviously, we dealt with one on Friday. But yeah, man, can't complain. Like your threads, I like my threads. I mean, you know, it's just a good day. We got plenty to talk about. So I'm good. How about yourself, though, man? What's on your end?
Watched the Senior Bowl. Passed on the Pro Bowl. After watching the Senior Bowl, I was like, I can't do
Fair
this.
enough.
I can't do this 2 weeks in a row, or 2 days in a row. I can't do this. Senior Bowl actually was somewhat entertaining for the first, like, 2 quarters, 3 quarters. 4th quarter, I was just out, though.
I was
like,
understand.
what am I doing at this point?
Understand.
Pro Bowl, really happy I didn't watch that, seeing some of the highlights and things popping up. That looked like a huge waste of time. Najee Harris, I saw he just had a catch, and I think T.J. Watt had a strip sack. I don't know if any of the other Steelers did anything.
Yeah.
Don't really plan on trying to do any extra research on that one.
I was going to say, I hope not.
But no, I'm good, man. I'm good. Yeah, solid weekend. Back at it.
No, absolutely, man. That Pro Bowl. Oh.
You actually watched it?
No. For me, I watched the Senior Bowl. Like, I had to go back and watch it like a couple of times because we obviously had, you know, not just our players that we want to watch, but also I've been hitting up the people in the chat and asking people, hey, send emails to let me know different prospects you want, you know, players broke down on, or just our thoughts and our opinions on them. So was getting some of those names, and I was like, you know what, let me go and trying to find them in the Senior Bowl to see what they did or did not do. So I ended up watching the Senior Bowl like 4 times, bro. I'm like Senior Bowl out right now. Absolutely. You can only imagine how I'm feeling. I'm like, yo, the Senior Bowl was cool. I don't want to watch any more Senior Bowl tape right now. But it was like the most
It is borderline preseason.
Right, but at the same time, it's not, though, in the sense that you're getting a chance to see a Bailey Zappi against SEC-type players. You don't typically see that where he was at. You got a chance to see Malik Willis against guys from the SEC, guys from the ACC. You don't get that typically. Even Kenny Pickett, it was good to see all of those guys in that position. And obviously, we'll get into that a lot more when we get to the Senior Bowl element of it. But I definitely, I hold a lot more. I put a lot more stake into like the Senior Bowl just because of where those guys are. I put it slightly above preseason, not necessarily regular season quality, but way, way ahead of the daggone Pro Bowl. Because the Pro Bowl, man, I think at one point I saw the TJ strip sack, Myles Garrett fumble recovery. I didn't know what I was like, yo, is this for real right now? And then I saw another play where it was
Mac
like,
Jones?
yeah. I'm like, bro, it was terrible. Then I think Kamara had a run before he got in trouble, and obviously it's like, man, he's running across the field, and I think it was TJ, 2 other defenders out there, and they're just like legit broke down 2-hand touch. I was like, oh, yeah, I'm had to get up off of my chin. I couldn't keep it up there anymore, man. Couldn't keep it up there.
I don't blame any of the players. The thing that bummed me out about the Senior Bowl was whenever they pop up the rules.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
The limits
it was wacky.
On defense.
Yeah.
You can't be running the same formation all the time on offense either. So I was a little bummed out about that.
Yeah.
But overall, I thought it was fine.
Nah, I like it, man. So, yeah, we'll talk about the Senior Bowl a lot more. Like I said, that is definitely on today's docket. But before we go any further, let's do like we always do. Let us know where you are tuning in from, and we will give you that big time shout out to start today's show.
We got Todd Sikowski, the 520, Tucson, Arizona.
Let's get it. Let's get it.
Minshew Mania says Willis is going top 12. I do see his stock rising, I think, a little bit.
It has definitely risen.
Nathan Cease, 502, Louisville. Brandon Clark. We got some new names here, ones I don't recognize all the time. Brandon Clark, 540, Roanoke, Virginia. Jerry Kirkland, 804, Petersburg, Virginia, checking in. It's always a good time with Deke and Moats.
Hey, shout out, man. All right, let me get some of these real quick. I got Trevor Hamilton on my end, the 406, Montana. Shout out to Montana. Russell Swartz tuning in from the 724, Hermitage, PA. Do you know where that is? 724 has got to be close, though.
It's got to be close. It's probably within an hour.
That's what I'm saying. Like, it's got to be within like the framework of the city.
I don't know where that is.
All right. We also have Bart Basquiato, 805, Thousand Oaks, California. Shout out to Thousand Oaks as well, man. Beautiful area. Random guy from the city of Mexico. And we were just speaking Spanish before we get up here. I was like, El Dico. Listo? He says, sí. That means, you ready? He said, yes, we're good, man, because it's a Latin flair that's taking over this channel. I don't know if you know that or not. We getting real salsa-y all of a sudden, though, okay?
Cinco de Mayo's coming up.
It is. I don't know how, we're not going to get into we'll leave it alone.
9:05 Toronto. That is Stan Clare.
Let's go. Okay.
Dark Donnie. He's tuning in from England.
Dark Donnie.
Hull, England.
Okay. Shout out to England and across the pond.
Anthony Landa, Houston, Texas, says yes, sir.
Mm-hmm.
Steel 6, New Mexico, 575.
I like it. All right, and I got a couple more on my end, and I actually saw a question that's popped up here that I do want to actually get your thoughts on by Rod Dollars. It was actually pretty cool.
Okay.
But a couple more. I have Gary Guidia. I think I said that right. Gary Guidia. Student from the 559. Need a center. Move Green to guard. Wait a minute now. Kendrick Green is working with one of the best centers to ever do it. I don't know if you saw the picture. I personally didn't see it in the moment, but I have got my chance to see this picture now, man.
I did see it.
I ain't gonna lie. What
does it mean? Not much.
I'm glad you said it. I'm not gonna lie. When I first saw the picture, I wasn't like looking at it all the way. I saw two big guys, one little guy. You can imagine which person I thought was Kendrick Green when I looked at the picture. I thought he was in the middle. I was like, oh, it's the Pouncey brothers and this little guy. And I'm like, oh, that's not him. That's him right there.
See, if Green was showing promise, it'd be a really sick picture.
Yeah.
You know how Najee took the picture with Bettis?
Absolutely. We say
before the
film with
offseason.
him.
Yeah, like that's sick. So, see if Najee took another pick with Bettis this offseason, or Franco, we'd be like, this is awesome.
He's about to take that next step.
A future guy meeting with a legend. This one, it's like, all right, hopefully Pouncey could do some work here. Like, we got to see.
Pouncey, if you can improve this guy, we're hiring you to be the new Mike Munchak. I don't know if you realize that. We're evaluating you in your retirement, Pouncey. Just you're not doing. Yeah, you think you just hoping Kendrick got the kindness of your heart. No, this is a job evaluation, big fella.
All right, you want me to read some of these super chats?
Yeah, let's see what we got, man.
All right, so let's go UW. He's traveling everywhere. What does he do? I forget.
I don't know.
He was in Mobile. Now he's saying he's up in Iowa.
I don't know, but all I know is let's go UW. I am on the Chad Muma train officially, okay? He was one of my ones that I really wanted to see at the Senior Bowl too, because we obviously have been talking about him a lot, and I knew, he was a top prospect, man, but it was definitely good, man. I'm excited when we get to the Senior Bowl in terms of recapping some of these players. He's definitely somebody that I wanted to talk about, though. But you go ahead, man. My bad. I just hopped on in your thing.
No, you're good. He says, I'd say the Shriner Bowl was better than the Senior Bowl, personally. I didn't even watch the Shriner Bowl. You did?
I didn't watch the full thing, but yeah.
I'd like to point out that Muma was the guy to chase down Malik on his big run.
This is accurate, and I was actually going to highlight that as well, man. One of Malik's big runs right before, and I was about to say before the half, but I can't remember if it was the quarter, because remember
it was the quarter. They
were treating quarters like halves. It was the weirdest.
BS.
It's like I understand why. Like I said, we'll get into it a lot more, but Malik had, man, a nice run, about to score right before the end of the quarter, and Chad was definitely the guy, man, to go out there and go run him down. It was super impressive, actually, man, when you go back and watch it, man. But like I said, we'll get on that a lot more in today's show. Yes, we will.
Mike Matizic.
Shout out to the homie Mike as
201 Bergenfield. Picking on my son from school. What's up, Moats and Deke?
Hey, man, shout out to you, Mike. Number one, because you being a good dad, picking up your son. I always got big time loves for my dads and my moms out there, because I don't take either for granted that are actually doing what they supposed to do, man, being involved in their children's lives, man. So shout out to you for that. But also shout out to you for tuning into the podcast while you do that, because, we got big dad energy, but we also got big podcast energy as well. So keep it rolling, player. Keep it rolling.
Leonard Gillum says, I hated the pick with Pouncey. He despised it.
Yo, is that that's a thing though, right?
What?
Because didn't you say something similar, like when we picked Pouncey, like you didn't want the Pouncey pick. You wanted, was it Des Bryant?
Oh, no, he's talking about the Kendrick Green picture.
The picture. I thought you were talking like the pick itself. I was like,
I wanted Des Bryant. I definitely wanted Des Bryant. I was kind of pissed about the Pouncey pick.
Yeah, I don't remember it, but I remember you told me that. Yeah.
Proved to be good. Des Bryant still had a good NFL career. I think he could have been nice with our receiving core, being like a tall receiver, because we didn't have that at the time.
He was
we had a bunch of small receivers.
Combat catch guy. Yeah.
Russell Schwartz. Hermitage is about 60 miles from the Berg. I met Moats at Hickory High School for Steelers basketball, Mercer County, PA.
Okay, so see, I'm familiar. I've heard it Mercer. I'm heard of Mercer County because when we went to that game, that's what we said we was going to Mercer County. I could not tell you that it was in Hermitage, but that's definitely good to know. Yeah, it was a little hike. I ain't gonna fake. It was definitely a hike, and that was the thing too with them Steeler games. We played in all the like random, like it's deep, it's PA, but it's just like these random spots. But it was always a blast, and probably because. Yeah, we don't get to go over there that often, so it makes sense market-wise. But yeah, man, it was a dope little scene out there, man.
Well, we're all caught up in the Super Chats.
I like it. Well, with that being said, man, let's hop into the first topic because, like I said, I know when we get to the Senior Bowl, man, we're going to talk a lot about that as well, and we're going to have other stuff that comes up. But to start this thing out, man, we officially have our new defensive coordinator. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, Teryl Austin, he is the one. Let's see, I think it was Jerry Dulac and Jeremy Fowler that initially reported. Then after that, Ian Rappaport and company took off with it as well. But the promotion of Teryl Austin, a couple of things we'll talk about. Number one, in the chat, just let me know your thoughts on Teryl Austin being promoted. You know, do you like the fact that he was the guy that they ended up settling on, or do you think or wish that they would have went elsewhere? Just let us know. Like I said, we'll read some of your comments off as well. But for me, I won't say I'm surprised by it, just simply because once Keith Butler had made the comments in terms of knowing how much of a hand Coach Tomlin likes to have currently in the defense, we both kind of felt that in a sense that it was going to be hard to lure a Vic Fangio, a Wink Martindale, even a Brian Flores, because those guys have made a reputation calling defenses, and it's hard to relinquish that ability when you have been that guy. I mean, that's one of the biggest things with Coach Tomlin as we speak that put us in this position where it's like, man, he has such an ability or a natural ability to call defenses that, you know, he wants to continue doing that. So we felt that it would limit, or at least I felt that it would limit the quality of candidate. We weren't going to be able to get one of those guys. So we'd have to look at the next tier. And this is where your Teryl Austins, your Patrick Grahams, guys along that level where it's like either some coordinator experience or new to the game in terms of trying to transition to the coordinator spot. Not a lot to not like out except the inexperience element of it. But I personally felt that with Teryl, you know, obviously he does have experience. He was in Detroit for a couple of years. He was in Cincinnati. And granted, some places were mixed bags, but we also know that some of those...
Cincy was a dumpster fire.
Yeah, Cincy was definitely bad. But with the Cincy situation, we also know that they were in a organizational transition as well. And we're seeing now, what, 3 years removed, now these dudes are in the Super Bowl. It's crazy. But with that being said, I do like the fact that with Teryl, he does have experience. He has coached or coordinated a top 10 defense before early in Detroit. He did do that. So
top 5 by some metrics.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So for me, I do feel like personnel-wise, we have a lot of talent defensively. Now, we know we have some pieces that we need to address, and we'll talk about some of those players in the Senior Bowl and obviously as we continue talking about free agency and the draft throughout this offseason. But to me, I just think that finding the best of both worlds in the sense of Teryl isn't homegrown. You know, he was outside hire when we brought him in 3 years ago. So he's had a chance to come in. He's had a chance to get his foot in the door. He's had a chance to build that relationship, that rapport with Coach Tomlin. So I do like that. I do like the fact that he is very experienced in terms of being a defensive coordinator. But at the same time, I think that it's the best case scenario where you're going to be able to have that working relationship, that dynamic where Coach T is still able to make the calls on game day without having to do all of the heavy lifting Monday through Saturday that Teryl Austin is going to be responsible for in terms of preparation, in terms of personnel decisions, in terms of packages, strengths and weaknesses of the defense. That's going to be on Teryl Monday through Saturday. It's going to be on Coach T, though, in terms of delivering it in the best way come Sundays and game days and stuff like that. But as a whole, I just felt like this was the best scenario with what we currently have right now.
That's what I'm thinking, too. Who else are you looking for right now?
Yeah.
Because whenever you compare Teryl Austin to Patrick Graham, to Chris Richard, to Joe Witt Jr., I mean, his resume is probably the best out of all three, actually.
Realistically, yeah.
Because the Lions season in 2014, as I mentioned, top 3 defense in terms of points scored and points allowed, or points scored and yards allowed.
Correct.
And then they actually had 2 decent seasons to follow that up for Detroit. They went 7-9,
Right.
9-7. Looking back,
but
that's actually not terrible.
Yeah, and you also have to remember, too, this is the Detroit team that wasn't far removed from when they had some of the worst records in the NFL.
Yeah.
That's all in that time frame because that's when they were switching coaches, going to Caldwell. I think because I'm trying to think, Austin left right when Patricia got there, if I remember correctly. That would have been when he went to Cincinnati. Yeah.
So who else are we going to get? I mean, Patrick Graham signed with the Raiders for their defensive DC coordinator. Mm-hmm. Teryl Austin's been in-house. It seems like all the players like him. And it's probably best for that working relationship, as you mentioned, with Coach Tomlin.
Yeah.
Because maybe that's why Graham didn't stick around or show a little bit more interest here, because down in Oakland or Las Vegas, he's probably going to be calling all the shots with McDaniels being the head coach. Now he's all offense.
No, absolutely. There's a strong chance. And I did find the time, I'm glad you said that, the timing of it did kind of I'm not going to say that it was any indication or anything, but it just was a little funny to me in the sense of we were interviewing all these candidates, right? So even past the whole Rooney Rule requirements and things like that, it was like, they were legit going through a search. But you notice, all right, we brought in Patrick Graham. We did our conversation with him. He gets the job to go to L.A. To Vegas. Now, Teryl Austin becomes the next candidate on the Giants list to interview. He's the guy that's supposed to be flying in there. It was supposed to be this week.
He would go down there
somewhere
else.
Yeah, he interviewed. I forgot where he interviewed beforehand, but he was supposed to go to New York once Patrick Graham took that job, and he never got that chance because the Steelers went ahead over the weekend and was like, nope, he's going to be our guy. Don't worry about it now. So, like I said, it's not an indictment. I don't look at it as a bad way either or, but I did find it funny because it kind of came off to me that Patrick Graham probably was the guy that they really wanted, and when he took the Vegas job, it was like, okay, we can't lose Teryl to New York because that's where he was going to interview next.
Yeah. If anything, I view it as a good thing because the Steelers did their due diligence. They brought some few guys and from the outside, and they all had pretty decent resumes outside of the top guys that we talked about, and Flores, Vic Fangio, even pulling Rex Ryan in from out of the media.
Yeah.
Like, we probably weren't ever going to get that guy to begin with. Right. I mean, it was a long shot. It was a pipe dream. So Teryl Austin, already in-house, likes what he sees here, I guess. We gave him a good offer. Wanted to stay. I don't see anything wrong with it at all. I know people could bring up the whole hire from within thing that the Steelers always do and critique that, but I felt like this one's a little bit different at least.
Yeah, I do. I agree with
you. This wasn't just Matt Canada, QB coach last year. Who else did we even interview with?
And not even just QB coach. It was QB coach without NFL credentials. And that was the other part. So it's like with Teryl Austin, man, Teryl has had success. He's been a coordinator at different locations. He was still in running to get another opportunity to be a coordinator elsewhere. So when we talk about the class of candidate, typically the biggest reason why we critique and criticize the Steelers in terms of promoting from within is because most of the time their promotions from within aren't qualified guys. Like how you just brought up about Matt Canada.
You could even say the same thing about Butler. At least he's been in the NFL, though.
Correct.
He never had defensive coordinator experience. It was his time, though. You talk about like, it's just we got to give him a chance.
But we also remember how long he was in the organization. When we talk about Canada, that wasn't the case. And that's the part that makes it, I feel like, a different situation for Teryl Austin because he's coming in already qualified. For him, it was a step down going from coordinator to be a position coach. Then he had to work his way back up. So for me, I do feel a lot better that, in terms of this hiring cycle, even though it's a promotion from within, is not in the same context because we don't have an issue of promoting from within when the candidate is qualified. Trust me, nobody's going to complain if you're promoting a guy that we all feel is head coach material or coordinator material. The issue is when you're promoting from within and these guys aren't qualified. It's I just know this guy and he just played here or he's been a part of the organization. So we just
going to coach at Maryland.
We're just going to he coached at Maryland. Or he's from Memphis. They either Maryland or Memphis connection. That's all you need. All right. Or did your dad or brother or cousin play in the NFL or NBA or WNBA? It doesn't matter which professional sport. As long as they have some type of tie, we know that traditionally that was the case. And that was why not just people like, I would get upset about it as well, but this is different here because Teryl, like you said, when you look at the other candidates that they were interviewing, it was, like I said, multiple guys, in-house and outside of the Steelers organization. He was the most qualified guy of this batch. So, yeah.
Then it all depended on probably the working relationship because if the Steelers actually did like Patrick Graham, I could see why he wanted to go to the Raiders just because he'll be calling all the shots. If he came here, we already talked about this. It'll be Tomlin's thing.
Well, and honestly, man, when you think about a guy like Patrick Graham, his name doesn't ring the same bell as a Wink Martindale. His name doesn't ring the same bell as Rex Ryan. His name doesn't ring the same bell as Vic Fangio. And the difference is those guys I just named have proven as a defensive coordinator that they can get the job done. Patrick is trying to get to that level. And coming here And this being that opportunity, you're always going to be capped. What we talked about with the Keith Butler situation. And this was even before we even knew the full extent with Coach Tomlin being the game day caller. It was like, man, you're always going to be capped in terms of how good you're viewed. Because even though you might have a top 5 defense, we're going to say it's top 5, but it's Coach Tomlin's top 5 defense. That's not your top 5 defense.
Yeah.
And if you were to leave, that would always linger over you. Yeah, you had good defense, but it was because Coach Tomlin. So if you're Patrick Graham, it made sense. And yeah, I could definitely get that.
And this is a big upgrade for Teryl Austin
it
from where he was.
Man.
Going from DC, now to secondary coach for us. This is a big step for him. So who knows what's in store, where this could take him. Does it land him a better DC opportunity down the line where he could try to become head coach? I don't know, but obviously this was a good move for him, a good opportunity.
And I even thought to an extent, because I think Teryl is 50. So even in that stint, I was like, granted, it probably won't work out here like this, but I was like, man, who's to know within the next couple of years? Like, what if Coach Tomlin changed his mind? He wanted to go elsewhere, wanted to retire, whatever. Maybe you already have his predecessor in-house as well, because that's another complaint that we've always had when we talk about the assistants in Pittsburgh.
Doesn't have a coaching tree.
Yeah, it's like, man, we don't have a ton of head coaches coming up under him. We don't have a ton of coordinators up under him. So this technically will be that first vein, because when you think about it realistically, Keith Butler and Dick LeBeau, those necessarily weren't Coach Tomlin hires. You know what I mean? Like, they were already a part of this thing, whereas Teryl Austin, that realistically is a part of his hire. So we're going to get a chance to see, like, hey, man.
Yeah, this is Tomlin's first go around it. Kind of everything being
correct.
His. Haley, was it his call? Maybe a little bit, but that was outside.
Right, that was still outside, yeah.
That was more, I think, coming from ownership, because at that point they were like, we want to protect Ben, bring us an offensive coordinator to do that. And then after him, it was Finkner.
Mm-hmm.
Canada's his guy, it seems.
Yes.
So we got Canada on offense and Teryl Austin after doing some of these interviews. Mm-hmm. Even though maybe you wanted Patrick Graham more, who knows? This is all speculation, but this was your decision. So these are his guys. Because everyone else, I mean, Arians, even before Todd Haley coming in, they were under the cower of the old regime.
Correct.
So now Tomlin gets his chance, man. A lot of this is going to be a big indictment on how Tomlin operates things.
No,
with
absolutely.
Quarterback situation, offense, defense. How are we going to look now? No franchise quarterback.
Mm-hmm. But at the same time, man, I do feel good about our leadership, though, if that makes sense. It's like we got a lot of questions, but I actually feel good.
No, because it is Tomlin.
It's weird, bro.
Proven to be a winner as a head coach. So he deserves that shot.
Right,
sure.
Until proven otherwise. Absolutely, man.
How does it look after 2 or 3 years? Then I think we could start debating that. Man, maybe even 2 years. Because this 1 year, I think we got to do a grace period.
Yeah.
After 2, I think we could start talking about hot seat stuff like that. But I don't think it's going to get to that point. I really don't.
I don't either. I hope it doesn't personally for us, because it's more fun when we're winning.
Yeah.
But I don't think it ever get to that point. Just because you think about the talent, you think about the leadership in place, we should be protected. That's all I'm saying. Like, I don't think it'd be a smooth and easy transition, but I do think it's not going to be as rocky as some of these other organizations that have to legit hit rock bottom. Like Cincinnati, they had to hit rock bottom before they could really balloon and get back to where they are right now. I don't feel like we're going to ever have to go completely to that extent to get to where we want to get back to. That's pretty much what I'm alluding to right there.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. You even look at some organizations like the Broncos. Now, after their Super Bowl, no more Peyton Manning. They haven't been as good, but they've been like in that 7-9, 8-8 range. Their problem's been they just don't have a quarterback.
You know, part of me wonders too, what happens if they would have kept Osweiler? Because you remember that whole... No, think about it, right? Osweiler, he looked good with them, and that was the reason why he got paid. The sample size was small, but remember, he led them those,
they went
like
with Simeon
final
after
5,
him, right?
Yeah, because it was like the final 5 games. Then postseason, they went back to Peyton. Yeah. And then from there, he went and got paid to go, I think he went to Houston first to get paid, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
So I always wondered that, like, man, if he stays in that situation, is it different for Denver for him? Because he looked night and day in Denver in those 5 games, the reason why he got the check.
I think it was only a matter of time with him.
Yeah. Well, we'll never know now, but yeah, I thought about that.
I think we beat them for sure if he's the quarterback.
Well,
as much as he looked better
than
Peyton in the regular season, I think Peyton was a big part as to why they won the Super Bowl.
Well, yeah, decision making. Peyton's decision making was off the charts, and we talked about some of the prep going into that game. But yeah, Peyton definitely mentally gave him the best chance, but physically, Osweiler was the more gifted quarterback at that time. Chill.
Yeah, they ended up going with Simeon over him. Now, I was reading an article. How do you feel about this? Is this maybe we won't know for another year? As I mentioned, this is just going to be more of an experiment. Do we do grace periods? But people are already calling for just let Teryl Austin call the plays. Like Tomlin should get rid of the play calling altogether on defense.
Okay. For me, I think he has to earn it. I would like him to a year under the way it's currently going. And then if it grows to the point where him and Coach T have a relationship and Coach T trusts him to that extent, sure. But to just throw it out there and just say, hey, man, first year as the coordinator, you get the spot, you get to make the calls when Keith Butler did it for how many years, and he didn't get that luxury. And if the reports were true that, even Dick LeBeau's last year, he didn't even get to call it, I'm just like, yeah, I ain't about to just throw the keys over to Teryl Austin like that. I'm sorry. Yeah. I mean, like I said, it could get to that, but if what Keith Butler said was actually true, yeah, I don't see how that works out like that. You know what I mean?
I'm with you on that. I think you just trust Tomlin up to this point.
Absolutely. I mean, if that's what it's been, we're not going to sit here and act like our defense, when healthy, isn't a top-tier defense. When our defense has been healthy, we know what it looks like. They finish in the top 5. That's what it's been, even under Keith Butler. But we know that at the same time, some of the bullheadedness with some of these calls, or sticking with it, or not making necessarily adjustments, that is still a critique of Coach Tomlin. But to me, I'm not willing to just turn it over because of that element of it, because everybody's going to have something bad about their game. Everybody, whether you're your coach, GM, owner, like everybody has something they don't do well, that they struggle with. But to me, I do think as a whole, Coach Tomlin in the driver's seat still is going to have these defenses where they need to be, barring any health. And that's the biggest part. It's the health part of it.
I'm with you on that.
Yeah.
We got Vinny D'Amato just giving us some support in the super chat.
I was going to say, even before we hit all of the
I think we only got 2. So I can read the second one off real quick too.
Yeah, because I wanted to go back into the regular chat to just get people's thoughts on the Teryl Austin promotion and things like that as well. So
Russell Schwartz says, Austin is from my area.
Mm-hmm.
He went.
Sharon, right?
Oh, Teryl Austin. Okay, I thought he was talking about Austin, Texas for a second.
No, because he's local. Yeah.
Went to Sharon High School, same as Marlon Jackson from the Colts Super Bowl team.
Yep, absolutely, man. So we get a little local connection as well, man.
There you go.
Yeah, and shout out to Vinny. I didn't know you had a unicorn on your thing, man. That's pretty dope.
Oh, is that what it is?
This is a unicorn, right?
Oh yeah. I see what you're saying.
Yeah, it's a unicorn.
Is that what he? Is that his own little profile thing, or is that the comment he made? He just said unicorn.
I don't know. I've never seen in the unicorn moves. Oh no, it doesn't move. I thought it was moving for a second. Yeah, so I don't know exactly with the unicorn, but either way, it's pretty cool. So shout out to the unicorn.
Okay, so some of the chats in terms of Teryl Austin, we got Dark Donnie just saying, "I'm fine with it." Leonard Gillum says, "I wish we got someone with better credentials."
Minshew Mania says Austin has been the DC twice before, and he has great credentials. That's crazy in terms of just the back and forth right there, right? All right, let's see. What else do we have in it? Minshew Mania also said, I like it, but he says doubt Flores was really an option, though. That would have been sweet in terms of Brian Flores once he got fired from the Miami head coaching job.
Jar Devil, I'm cool with Austin hire. Our secondary was horrible before him.
This is true. I mean, that's another thing, right?
When did he come on?
He came in 2018, right? The year we traded for Minka. So it's like
after Joe Hayden.
Yeah, so you see Minka, you see Cam Sutton, Mike Hilton. He's another name, all right? He's another guy that was under Teryl Austin. Even Terrell Edmonds. You look at how all of those guys have been playing under Teryl Austin and how they've improved. I mean, we've talked about it. Mike Hilton, when he got paid big time. Cam Sutton has developed into outside corner in a sense, right? In a sense.
I thought he played solid this year.
Absolutely.
Nothing crazy, but
he showed that he could play on the outside, because prior to that he had never seen it. But
and from where we drafted him too, he's been a success for us.
Absolutely.
For sure.
So that's development, that's productivity. We talk about the safety play. Minka Fitzpatrick and Terrell Edmonds, both of those guys have been super productive. Obviously, Minka in the turnover vein. We know with Edmonds and his tackling. So you can see quality development. Even Trey Norwood, think about him, rookie coming in, playing significant early on, coming up with some timely turnovers as well. That's all under Teryl Austin. So I do like the continuity there as well, because they're not going to have to learn different techniques, different verbiage, or have to have a different just philosophy. Because sometimes, even though you can run the same scheme, coaches coach differently. Coaches look for things differently, and they want different things. So with you retaining Teryl Austin, you don't necessarily have to feel like they're going to be this mass overhaul where the players are going to have to be negatively affected by that as well.
We got Gong the Good. Says,
no. What's his name?
This is the wrong comment, but he says, I was trying to read the one above him. He says, He wants Trevor Penning in the first and Zion Johnson in the second. Good idea. But
Okay,
the one I
okay.
wanted to read was Brandon Griffin. He says, I just want the secondary to finally look great and stop the run again. I didn't think secondary was our biggest concern this year. It had its lapses for sure. Well, especially when we started playing Witherspoon. If anything, our secondary was halfway decent.
Better.
Yeah, stopping the run is the biggest concern for defense.
Yeah. That's definitely a concern. It's definitely a concern.
Yeah, because I wouldn't put the performance of our defense really on the secondary or Teryl Austin this year.
But I would also say, just in response to stopping the run, remember we did have injury concerns, right? In terms of Devin Bush never really getting back to form. We know, Tyson Alualu injured early in the season, right? I think it was the Raiders game where he went down. We talked about Stephon Tuitt, right? Supposed to be able to be here this year. Obviously, the situation didn't work out for him to be able to return. So I do think when you get players like those guys back, or if they don't return, but you go out and actually acquire talented guys to their level or at least comparable to their level, I do think we will see an improvement in the run game. I don't think it fixes it all, but I do think that would improve it as well. So I said, with that, like I said, it's not the worst situation right now. Like I said, we'll get better with it.
Caleb Cool says, honestly, didn't expect it to go any other way.
I can understand.
Nah, they were flashing a little bit like, hey, you know what? We're interviewing some other guys.
They were.
That surprised me.
Put it like this. I was definitely surprised at how many candidates that they interviewed.
4.
I don't think I was surprised, though, that they finished and it was Teryl Austin. Because I thought all of it, I know me. I just assumed that, hey, man, they're going to promote from within.
They were
because
dragging
that's what
their
they
feet,
do.
though, a little bit.
They were,
You're
though.
right about
They
the timing
were.
with Patrick Graham, OC with Raiders. All of a sudden, Teryl Austin set to interview with the Giants.
And that's what really makes me feel
you're hired here.
It's like, man, I know you liked him enough that you pulled the trigger when you saw he was about to get another opportunity. So I get that part. But I do question, was Patrick Graham your first? Now, I'm never going to get that answer because as soon as I go to ask Kevin Colbert, you think I'm going to tell you that, Arthur? You think I'm going to tell you that, this guy over that guy? No. So I'm not going to get that answer. Even Coach T's not going to get me. I don't think Mr. Rooney's going to tell me that answer, okay? I'm not getting that answer no matter how much I ask. But, like I said, just timing of it, it's like, man. He was one of the first outside candidates as well, Patrick Graham. He was one of the first. In fact, I think he was the first outside candidate. Then after that, it was Chris Richard and then Joe Witt.
Yep.
Yeah. So it was like you could obviously see the interest was there from the beginning of this thing. But man, it's still, like I said, that's still a good move. It's not even if it was you were the number 2 guy. Still a good.
I'm fine with it.
Still a good move. Still a good move.
People being mad about it, I think it's the wrong time, the wrong spot to be mad.
Yes. Like when we talk about hiring from within, I get it. This is just slightly different from, at least from our opinion, our perspective.
Yeah,
so,
definitely.
All
right, you want to get to the next topic?
Let's do it, man. Let's do it. But I say, because it looks good. All right. Now, this next one I'm really excited about because...
Oh, you know what? We do have a comment. It kind of related to what we were talking about. This is a super chat came in from Farron Bradford. How will that impact coach development by not calling plays? Isn't that a part of Coach T's legacy, to develop them? Man, that's a great question. No, absolutely. Farron is definitely a part of his legacy, and that is one of the bigger knocks on his legacy. When you talk about McVay, when you bring up an Andy Reid, guys that we can point to and say have a distinct coaching tree. Bill Belichick, even though his coaching tree hasn't been as successful, is still a legit lineage you can point to. Head coach, DC, OC. Whereas with Coach Tomlin, we don't get a lot of that right now. So, yeah, when you talk about, not allowing Teryl Austin initially to be the play caller, it will stunt his development in terms of just having that feel for calling plays. Because as I said numerous times, just because you have a playbook doesn't mean you know how to call plays. Just because I tell you, hey, Deke, this is our short yardage package. These are the plays you typically want to call. If you don't understand down and distance, if you don't understand the offensive personnel's tendencies and things like that, those plays are going to look like, 5 or 6 random plays. You're not going to have an idea, whereas somebody that understands and has a feel for when to call certain plays, they're going to be more natural and they're going to be more successful in those veins. So, yeah, it does hurt his development. It does stunt that. But I will say for Teryl, the reason why I don't think it hurts him as bad is because he's already done it prior to this situation. Keith Butler, he's the guy right now that if he was on the market, I would question his ability to call defenses because he's never done it.
even though he was here as the DC in title, he wasn't DC in terms of game day play calling. It is a difference. It's a significant difference, actually, man. So with Keith Butler, I can see that as definitely a negative knock on him. But with Terrell, because he's already done it elsewhere, I think it's not going to be as prolific. And that's why I also feel that I could see a scenario where, 2 years down the line or even 5, depending on how long this relationship works and they stay together, where Coach T says, you know what, I trust you. You can start calling more. You can do that because I've seen you do it before. And it's a lot easier to trust a person when you've already seen them do it and see them be successful in that role versus you hoping a guy can develop into that. But at the same time, you're going to be affected by their bumps and bruises, by their growing pains. Sometimes you're not just as willing to put yourself out there like that. And if you're Coach T, I could definitely understand that as well, man.
Yeah, for sure. Well, that's all we got. We're all caught up.
I like it. All right. Let me see. Nobody caught. Yeah.
Steel guy. Is that what you?
Yeah, that's what I just looked at. It was like nobody under Coach T. Yeah.
He says nobody under Coach T has been hired for head coach.
And I was thinking about that, and I was like, man, is that the truth? I feel like it's there.
Well,
who would you put?
He just hasn't had his real opportunity to pick his guys, though. That's the other thing.
Because said this is probably the first go around. Yeah.
He's already a head coach.
Right.
I mean, he could have maybe been another head coach somewhere, but I don't think that was due to Tomlin.
So Bruce Arians, because he's a head coach right now, but do you classify him as a Tomlin tree?
No, that was with Coward.
That's what I was saying.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to think. Because he has players that are going to potentially get head coaching opportunities, but, and even with that, I mean, some of them still cross over a little bit to the Coward.
Yeah, because they ran Arians out of town.
Yeah.
He was supposed to retire back in 2012. He's had a pretty good damn second wind of his career. I think he won Coach of the Year with the Colts in Luck's rookie season. Then goes to the Cardinals.
Cardinals has a ton of success out there.
Reinvents them with Carson Palmer, and then ends up back with the Bucs.
Wins the Super Bowl down there.
Yeah, so with Jameis, but then gets Brady and wins the Super Bowl.
Dude,
Always head coach too. He was just OC here.
That's what I'm trying to think. Then who under?
He went to the Colts to be there. It was QB coach or OC,
right.
But then Pagano got the cancer. That's when he took over middle of the season, and they made the playoffs, all in Luck's rookie year.
Oh, man.
Almost makes you think we could have kept Arians.
Man, this is crazy.
What?
Ooh, I'm going through all the coaches under Coach Tomlin and just thinking where they've went afterwards.
It's only really been Butler.
Yeah.
Butler on defense, and offense, it's Arians.
Because Jerry O is still the linebackers coach. Joey Porter, he's...
Oh, you're even thinking assistants.
Yeah, I'm even thinking like assistants trying to go down that route. Yeah, because I'm trying to think. Cornell Lake, when he was here, he went out to basically, be the full-time dad, then watch his son play college ball, so that didn't happen. Trying to think offensively.
He just went O-line to
O-line, yeah. Running backs coach, John Saxton, but he's out in Arizona now. Bruh, this is nuts. Receivers coaches.
Yeah, who have we even had? I don't even know.
Yeah, because Drake passed away. Leslie Mann, he retired. Then Ike Hilliard, he got an interview a year ago.
Right.
Yeah, he got an interview a year ago, so he's probably
getting
next
some buzz
in line.
For other teams. Yeah.
So Ike's probably next in line, maybe.
And what would that be? That'd be going to like an OC spot.
Yeah.
Somewhere else.
Whew, man.
Or here if Canada doesn't work out, I guess. Nah. You know what? As much as I'm not digging going back with Canada, let's give him a shot. Whatever.
Fair enough then.
Let's give him a shot.
Fair enough.
Still not over. I mean, it's part of his resume. It's part of his resume and what happened last year, the hijacking. It always will be. It's a stain. There's always going to be an asterisk.
Was he hijacked or was he handcuffed?
He was handcuffed.
You're
saying the organization then.
Some people saying he was handcuffed.
Oh, I do think the organization was part of it. Organization, Tomlin, Colbert, whoever it was. There was some treason going on.
Some people said that he was handcuffed. I don't know. I don't know all the details.
Wow.
I don't know all the details, but that's what they're saying, man.
So Canada was innocent in it all.
He was only given red paint.
I don't know if I buy it.
He was only given red paint. That's what I heard. And he had to paint with the red paint.
You're talking about that? No way. I'm not giving him a pass for that.
I'm just saying that's what word on the street is. He didn't have a lot of say so. He was handcuffed. He had to work with who he had to work with.
I'll trust Bash.
He had to work with who he had to work with.
I'll trust Bash's tweets.
That's what they said, bro. Coach Thomas said, that's what Coach Thomas said. He said he only had red paint. That's what he said. I'm just going with I'm just listening to the boss man.
We move forward, but he's on thin ice. That's all.
Fair enough there. All right. Well, you know what, Deke? Before we go to this next topic, because this is going to be a fun topic, I'm really excited about it. Actually, I got two things I wanted to discuss before we get to that. But we know today's show is special because today's show is a sponsored show. You know, anybody that's looking in the bottom of the screen, they can see this show is brought to you by DraftKings Sportsbook, you know, the official sports betting partner of the NFL. And they have something new going on this time, Deke, because we know it's the big game this weekend. Y'all know we can't say the big game. We got to go to the big game. Y'all know the game I'm talking about this weekend, the big one with the team from LA and the team from Cincinnati. You know them two teams we talking about, right? Well, ladies and gentlemen, what DraftKings Sportsbook is doing for all of the first-time users out there, baby. If you use the promo code Moats, like it always is, on this bet this week for the big game, 56-1 odds, okay? So you got the team from LA, you got the team from Cincinnati. Put your money down on one of them, okay? 56-1 odds. So essentially, a $5 bet will win you up to $280 in free bets. Now, this is the kicker with this, right? So to break it down for you, put your $5 in on the LA team, right? You're like, y'all like the LA team. They got a kid, you know, from Pennsylvania that I happen to like a lot. All right, we win the bet. Boom, we get that 280. From there, you take that 280, and now you can use that to bet on anything and everything you want right on DraftKings Sportsbook. So
great deal.
Stop wasting time, bro. It is a great. I mean,
can I say this about DraftKings?
Talk about it, bro. Absolutely.
I really don't like betting hockey, but. Well, and one of the reasons is a lot of these betting apps don't have nice same-game parlays that you can use. They won't allow it. I go to DraftKings. They have some really nice ones, and I really appreciate what they're doing with the hockey betting.
Let's get it, man. Let's get it. So, there you go, ladies and gentlemen. If you want to put money on the big game, get your 56-1 odds. Or if you want to put money on the ice, baby, either way, use that promo code Moats. But, Deke, we also know that at times, some people have a little bit of a problem.
Yeah.
We know at times, Deke, some people can overdo it.
With the big game coming up, I could see that happening.
I mean,
many props.
It is the big
So many
game.
parlays you could be doing.
I mean, it is the big game. So with that being said, with the big game, I got to do it like this, okay? Because if you know someone, or if you happen to have a gambling problem, crisis counseling, or you might need referral services, well, Deke, I got to tell you, you got two things you got to do. First off, you need to dial 877-8-HOPE-NY, okay? For my New Yorkers out there, 877-8-HOPE-NY. But for everybody else that's not living in New York, y'all know what y'all need to call. Y'all need to call 1-800-GAMBLER. I say, you need to call 1-800-GAMBLER. I say, you better call 1-800-GAMBLER. Now I'm back to your regular scheduled programming.
Good stuff, bro.
Oh, man, I don't know what you're talking about, man. I was just back here chilling, bro. Just, sometimes the ad goes off. You just got to talk about the ad. You know how that is, man.
I feel you.
It's the least we could do, though.
And you got to put out the disclaimers.
Yeah, you got to do
just
that,
make
right?
sure everyone does it responsibly.
Absolutely, man.
Dude, I got some breaking news here. I don't know if you saw this.
I did not see this, man. Talk about it.
One of your former teams, actually.
Oh, okay.
What's all this with the Kyler Murray news? Caleb Cool asks.
Pull it
Travion
up.
Sanders says Kyler Murray has unfollowed the Cardinals on IG and has deleted all related content.
Oh, Lord. We doing the social medias. All right. Google it. See what's going on with him, man. I have no clue what's going on with my man.
I think
Kyler.
that's it. I think that's all you need to know. He's unhappy.
Do
you want to talk about trades?
I'm going to say, so he's in play now?
Yeah, definitely. I think
definitely.
I think he shoots up to number 1 on our list. Actually, if
he
he's
does.
available for trade,
He does. Okay.
I do for sure.
Okay.
The speed, dude. He's got a cannon.
So let's talk about it. Then. Let's talk. Let's talk.
Proven
college.
to be a really solid quarterback in the NFL. Young still.
Mm-hmm.
Could fit Canada's system. I think he goes right to number 1 on our list.
Okay.
I'm for it.
Okay.
We'd probably have to give up the most to get him, though. He's in that Deshaun Watson category.
Mm-hmm.
He's cleared of things, though.
Okay, so I'll say...
Kyler Murray's good.
He is cleared of things. That's what... I love your detail right there, Deke. I love your detail. All right. With Kyler, first off, we know elite level athletic ability. Mobile, right? Definitely dual threat, can run like a son of a gun, but at the same time, like you talked about, has a really good arm. I mean, I love the accuracy, the ball placement. He takes chances. Yeah, definitely complete. The big knock on him, obviously, is his size. He is a very small quarterback. Doesn't necessarily take a lot of bumps and bruises, though, because he really doesn't take a lot of clean shots, but...
He's injured, though. He does get randomly injured.
Yeah, dude,
as the season goes,
his injury too, the one that happened to him at the end was like on a fluke last play of the game type situation. It was nonsense, man. But we know with him, he is a smaller quarterback. So with that, some of the things you have to worry about is obviously moving the pocket so he can see at times in terms of throwing it. And then obviously we also know, like I said, it's one of the things that makes him exciting, but one of the things that wide receivers sometimes complain about is just because of how tiny he is and because he's always on the move at times, the ball, you don't necessarily know where it's coming from. It will just pop up on you at times. I don't think it's that big of an issue, but at the same time, I'm not an NFL wide receiver. So if those guys say that at times can be a little bit more challenging than a traditional bigger quarterback that you can actually see and you know the release angles and stuff like that, I just have to take their word for it because I'm not an expert as a wide receiver. But with that, though, I do like him a lot. I guess my big knock on him, like I said, is going to be the cost because he is a former number 1 overall pick on a rookie deal, but he's, 3 years in the league?
Ooh, we are going to have to pay him soon.
Absolutely. Rookie of the year winner. So not only do you...
2-time Pro Bowler.
Yeah, I'm about to say, so you throw all the accolades in there, even though he has 2 years remaining when you talk about 4th year plus 5th year option. Quarterbacks like Kyler Murray, Kyler Murray don't play on the 5th year. Quarterbacks like Kyler Murray get extended this year, this offseason. So when I think of this, in terms of,
that's why
it's probably a big reason why, in terms of why he would be upset. Yeah, if he's coming to them and during this time of year is when the negotiation typically starts. I remember me sharing the same feeling towards the Steelers organization right around this time. In fact, I was 3 weeks later because I was right around the combine when I got pissed off with the team. And that's when our communication stopped.
You didn't scrub your social media?
I did not. I always, first off, I don't feel like taking the time to go through and delete all the pictures. I'm like, listen, if y'all want to know how I feel, just ask me.
Oh, yeah. What did he, did he delete everything?
Yeah, that's my thing. I'm like, just ask me. That takes a lot of time and effort, bro, to go through and delete every single picture that you post. You know, I post a lot of pictures with the team when I was with them.
Let me see if he actually deleted everything.
If he deleted all the pictures, bro, that's extreme.
If you got rid of Cardinals in your profile,
right,
maybe that's one thing. All right, so oh yeah. Oh yeah, it's just profile, and it doesn't look like the Cardinals logo is visible from his helmet. That in Oklahoma.
That's interesting. But honestly, like for me.
He just
being
says
in that
green
situation,
light.
man, I remember like you get upset because during negotiations, the first thing that happens is what? You try to promote yourself that you should get X amount. The team rebuttals with you are this and this and this. We should pay you this amount. Most of the time,
He's
that
trying
initial,
to get that 40.
I'm about to say, most of the time, that initial number is not what you think it's supposed to be. It might end there. I know with me and the Steelers, it ended better than what we thought. But at the time, it was like, yo, y'all low key disrespectful to start this thing out. So I could easily understand a guy like Kyler being a little upset, man. But to go through and delete, he legit.
I don't like that. If any, that's a little red flag.
That's emotional, man.
That's a little red flag.
It's super emotional, bro.
I really don't like that because ultimately you're going to be doing negotiations with them. You're still on their roster.
Yeah, but I don't think you've experienced negotiations, but like NFL bro, some of the stuff that they say, like I told you, bro, like for the longest time, I had issue with Omar. I was like, bro, I can't talk to you right now. Like some of the stuff that we had to say in negotiations, like. We can't be friends. Now it got better and we're good now. Don't worry about it. Everybody, we're good. But during the time, it's like, no. Because you
feel it gets personal.
Absolutely. When you're over here like, yo, my arm hurt.
You think they called him Mini-Man or something?
My knee hurt. Yeah, bro.
They called him like Mighty Mouse.
Man, they hit you. He come in there, yo, I need 40. Sean got he got 40. He got in trouble. I'm clean. I ain't done nothing wrong. I need 40. And they hit you with it. Now we'll pay you 30. You like, hold on, bro.
You think they bring up his height?
Why wouldn't they?
You think they would?
Why wouldn't they?
Take a shot.
Listen, they hit me with the, well, Arthur, you're not really 6'4", 260. I'm like, oh, okay, this is what we're going on. I thought y'all telling me it didn't matter how I got here. It didn't matter what I look like. If I could play, I could play. So when it's game day, it's if I could play, I could play. When it's negotiations, it's, you ain't 6'4", 260. Oh. So yeah, it's that brings up, man. They will bring up a lot, man.
Okay, so you're saying maybe it's not as much of a red flag.
No. The
bad decision making.
To me, I would say he's young also. Remember when I went through this, man, I was 20, was that 26? Like 26 time frame, because it was going into my 6th year when I did the new negotiation, right? The 5th year, it wasn't that big of a deal. It was a regular vet minimum. It was still nice money, but it was a vet minimum deal. That next deal was where I got paid. So when I thought of that, I was like, man, I was definitely more mature. So I handled it in a way better way. But my immaturity was this. For Kyler, he might have just did the social media, but he still might have his phone open to those guys. I was like, yo, don't call me ever again. And that's why when you hear me talk about it, and I was like, the only reason I signed back was because the one person that I didn't have blocked was Coach Tomlin. And he was the one who hit me up. He hit me up literally I was supposed to fly down on a Monday. He hits me up on a Saturday telling me to come in the office on Monday. He was like, yo, come in here before, because free agency starting on that Tuesday. So it was like, yo, come in here on Monday before you fly out. Let's just have a conversation. And he was literally the only person that I was going to talk to. Everybody else, I was like, yo, don't call my phone. Like, you've already had your chances. You disrespect me too many times. I know these players on this team. I know the guys you're talking about. My numbers are better. I'm nicer. I'm way more athletic. I don't want to hear any of it. So, yeah, I can understand for Kyler. But like I said, for Kyler, hopefully his phone is still good.
So maybe, he's doing it more for the PR standpoint. He's
for
playing
me, I was like,
the political game with it.
Right. I never was big on publicly, let's get mad. And at the same time, too, social media during that time wasn't, it was big, but it wasn't like to where it is now, where we're asking who's following who and things like that. But for me, my response was, bro, I'm not going to argue with you because I don't like to argue. I don't do that. No. I don't have time for arguing. If you don't think I'm good enough, or if you keep telling me I'm the third best guy, and Jarvis Jones and Jason Rose is retired, Debo's not on the roster right now, and I'm the third best guy, oh, no, we ain't got nothing to talk about. That was just my energy, bro.
I'm with you. The thing that would concern me with Murray is just what we'd have to give up. Like, would you rather have Malik Willis, you draft him at 20, and have, 4 years with him on a rookie contract, and the extra cap space now that we don't have to pay for him, $35-40 million on a contract that we would with Kyler Murray? Or would you rather give up first-round picks galore for Murray and pay him that contract? More I'm thinking of it, maybe you just stick with the rookie quarterback formula or sign a guy on the cheap in free agency.
This situation is different for me because typically when we're talking about this, it's like, hey, you're giving up a ton for guys that are older. Aaron Rodgers, older. Russell Wilson, older. Not old, but older. Deshaun Watson, a lot of baggage off field, right? So all three of those situations, it, to me personally, never really made sense to give up a ton of assets for those players when you talk about contract availability and length of time we would have him here. Jimmy G is another guy, because when you talk about what you give up, but you have to bring in that contract versus where his play is, it doesn't make the most sense. Kyler is different. Kyler makes a lot of sense in the sense of, yes, he's young. Yes, he's expensive, but he's already proven that he's QB1. He's already proven that he's flirting with franchise quarterback. We said, I think you put him in there. I said he's like right. I need to see a little bit more from him, but
we needed some good playoff performances this year. He didn't give that to us.
Right. So it's like you can see he's right in that vein. So at the same time, like he's not old. He's not 38, 39 where you're worried about, I'm going to get him for 2 to 3 years and that's it. No, this is a guy that you could have for the next 10 plus years realistically.
True.
This is also a guy that you talk about dual threat ability. Can he play in Matt Canada's system? Absolutely he can. We know what today's NFL is. One of the biggest reasons why Malik Willis is talked about so much right now is because when you cut that Senior Bowl tape on, he has something that the other guys don't have. When the coverage is what it is, when nothing's open, he can make a play with his legs and kill you with them at times. Kyler is in that same capacity, even to a higher extent, because he's a lot faster. So with Kyler, I necessarily am not against having to give up more because he's definitely proven. And at the same time, you're going to guarantee that you would have him for way longer than you would at Aaron Rodgers or Russell Wilson. And you don't have the risk, the whole situation with Deshaun Watson, because even if Deshaun gets cleared, it's just like, man, you still going to always be looking over your shoulder like, is there somebody else that's going to come out? Is there anything new that's going to happen just because of how hot and how many people were associated with that? Not saying that should deter you or sway you either way, but it's the reality of it. You're going to have to always be concerned that, hey, if an allegation comes up, even if it's a fake allegation, you got to at least respect it and respond to it because of the track record with them right now. With Kyler, you're not going to have to deal with that either. So it's like I said, if you were going to do that and trade and make a package to get him, I'm cool with it because, number one, he's proven. Number two, he's young. And he's what we want in today's NFL, that dual threat type of guy.
You're cool with it. Are you pushing for it, though?
I'm not necessarily pushing for it. I think it's one of those things I would definitely pick up a phone, though.
I think I'm with you. That's the best way to put it. It would be number one on our list if we're going to make a trade. Mm-hmm. But I could see the other side of it where you keep the cap space, try to team build a little bit.
Absolutely.
You could go one way or the other, but Kyler's way more proven than any of these guys coming out right now. At least you know, this is going to be a borderline top 10 guy.
Yeah, Kyler comes in day one, you're back in that Super Bowl contending conversation immediately. Like no ifs, ands, or buts. Immediately. Before we draft anybody else. Immediately. Because he brings that to the table. He elevates. He creates a whole nother aspect that you have to account for defensively. And then when you talk about the talent that we already have, now we're like, hey, we're spot filling, right? We need a O-lineman here. We need maybe a linebacker here. We need this guy over here. It's a lot different in terms of that because you don't necessarily feel the need to, hey, I got to get the best version of a D lineman. You don't have to feel like that when you got Kyler Murray at quarterback because you know, hey, we're going to be able to keep up. We're going to be able to score. We're going to be okay right here. Even if we can't get an A player, we can get a B player over there because we got Kyler. It's just different in terms of what he brings to the table in contrast to a Malik Willis, a Kenny Pickett, or any of these guys we're talking about drafting. It's like
they might not win the job.
Right. It's like they legitimately might not win the job. Whereas
at least for this year, right?
Kyler's not a debate. Kyler coming here, man, that's QB1. That's the jersey they selling in stores as soon as he gets here. Like, we know that.
Yeah, we'd have to break out number one. And it's unofficially retired because of Gary Anderson, number one. So we'd have to unofficially unretire it. It's unofficially retired, unofficially unretire number one. Break it out for Kyler. I don't know. What do you have to do? You have to get his approval or something? If it's not technically retired, I don't know. He's worthy of bringing an old number like that.
Like I said, I don't think it happens just because the package it would take would be crazy. But at the same time, if you're going to entertain the Jimmy G conversation, if you're going to entertain the Russell Wilson,
like this.
No, absolutely. Man. And that's the thing. It's like
that got me depressed over the weekend.
But you're saying the same stuff I see, and you're hearing it from the same people that I kind of hear it from as well. And I'm like, I'm talking to NFL, I'm talking to ESPN, I'm talking to these people, and it's like, this is what they're thinking. This is what they're hearing as well. So it's not like oh my God, we're fabricating and coming up with something. No, it's like, no, they even think that. They even hear that because this is unprecedented. It's not as if we can point to, hey, this is how the Steelers always fill a quarterback hole. This is how they always do it. We can't point to that because last time they did it was 18 years ago. It's not like when we talk about building they built through the draft because they want to get this particular corner or this particular wide receiver. We don't have that information. None of us do. At least
for quarterback.
Right. So that's why you do entertain these things because we've, number one, seen a difference in approach from this team in terms of their willingness to trade players, whether you're acquiring them or getting rid of them. That typically hasn't been the Steelers' way. We've seen them be willing to part with first-round draft picks. Minkah Fitzpatrick, case in point. That's something that they hadn't done traditionally, but they did. We saw them move up to get Devin Bush. We've seen them do things out of the ordinary of lately. So with this situation, I do think it's something that I would at least want them to pick up the phone. Pick up the phone and just hear what the offer is. I don't like any of this predetermined.
Cardinals are offering us.
Well, no, I wish it was that case, but
we should be more aggressive.
Hey, man, we
give them a call.
Listen, man, we see what's going on with the Kyle situation. Like, yo, what's going on? Like, are y'all interested in moving him potentially? If not today, maybe down the line.
Do you think it happens that fast?
I don't think it happens that fast because right now, if you're the Cardinals,
Instagram scrubbing and you got teams calling you left and right.
What's happening right now? If you're the Cardinals, Steve Keim, Michael Bidwell, those guys are out there and they're saying, hey, people are letting them know because they're not social media guys, but they're letting them know, hey, check on Kyler. Granted, they probably already have an idea based on how negotiations are going, but they have an idea. And then from there, it's like, all right, pick up the phone, call them. We got to figure out how to make it right. If I'm Arizona, I'm not moving him. It's going to take a king's ransom. But this opens the door when you know he's pissed.
Yeah, you know what? Honestly, the more you think of it, with Kingsbury there, who are they gonna bring in?
It's like, man, they're not
unless they're
gonna
draft like Malik Willis.
But we'll put it like this. Typically, you would think it's super far-fetched, but it's hard when the organization has already moved on from a top 10 quarterback within 1 year.
Rosen.
Yeah, think about that. Before you even got a chance to evaluate him, he had one season, and they moved on from him. And they didn't even want to do it, but then when they brought in Kingsbury was like, yo, Kyler's my dude. That's the guy I want. It just made sense. So it's like, I don't even put it past him. But I personally, if I'm Arizona, I'm not moving Kyler because Kyler's proven. Kyler is young. Kyler's everything that I've just highlighted in terms of why we would want him here. But I do feel like if you're the Steelers, it's worth a phone call because clearly there is something not right. Clearly there is something off. And even if the trade isn't happening right now, that's fine. In fact, they probably should say, no, we're not interested, hang up. But as negotiations go forward, if it doesn't get improved, well, hey, they got your number. They remember that. And then from there, now you start trying to figure out, okay, if this thing does have legs to it, what does the offer look like? What does a package deal look like? But until then, you just pick up the phone and just do your due diligence. If you're going to do your due diligence on Jimmy G, if you're doing due diligence on Aaron Rodgers, if you're doing due diligence on Russ, Deshaun Watson, Derek Carr, Minshew Mania, Mariota, like, why wouldn't you do it on Kyler? Like, that's all I'm saying. Like, if you're going to do this whole list of guys, and not you, I'm talking like the team, because these are all the different quarterbacks that we've heard.
Are they actually talking about Rodgers and Russ and Deshaun right now?
I
heard more like Jimmy G.
Not like that. Definitely Jimmy G. Definitely
Damn,
Jimmy G. Yeah.
That's depressing.
Yeah. But I'm just saying in the sense, it's like, man, what's like, if you're going to call for that, why wouldn't you do the same out there in AZ just to figure out, like, is it a chance? Maybe Arizona's like, you know what? No, he wants 40. We're not paying him 40. How many first round picks you trying to give up? That could be a conversation as well.
Right,
but
all of a sudden you see reports come out. Kyler Murray wants this.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever team trades for him, that's the extension he wants. So then teams could even know going in.
Right, but
it's almost like NBA trades.
Right,
you know?
But you just really don't know until you pick up the phone. And that's the biggest thing why I keep saying just pick up the phone, because how many times as soon as something like this comes up, you're going to get half people that get excited, which you should, and then you get the other half, oh, no, they would never do that. And we know why people say that, because they don't want to get their hopes up. And I get that. I understand it. But at the same time, I just think it's a disservice to your team or to building your team if you don't even entertain it by picking up a phone call. Like, how can you tell me you're trying to find the best option at quarterback that makes your team better, that does all these different things, and you don't even, not even a call?
We talked about Julio Jones last year with how our receiving core was looking.
Mm-hmm.
I remember we did this whole exercise. You were like, what do you think? Should the Steelers trade for Julio? I'm like, yeah, it ain't even happening. There's no way. What did the Titans give up? A second-round pick?
That was it, yeah.
You mean to tell me, man,
Exactly.
You know what, if we traded a second-round pick for Julio last year? Now, granted, he was injured a lot, but that wouldn't have helped our team a little bit last year if he was healthy.
That's all I'm saying.
So I'm with you on that. I'm excited. I would be excited if it happens. He goes to number one on my list, though, in terms of quarterbacks to trade for.
Absolutely.
If he's on the market. Cliff the Dark Knight. I will go over some super chats real quick.
All right, sweet.
Moats, just got your book in the mail today. Looking forward to reading it.
Hey, man, shout out to
Hashtag
you, man.
Yes, indeed.
Man. I appreciate you. And shout out, yes, indeed. You see I got the shirt on. The
It's
new
clean,
shirt just
dude.
dropped, baby. We in the building. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed, man. Also, the Thank You 7 hats are available as well, man. Definitely check those out, too, man. Right on the website, man. Y'all know what the description is. Description box, click the link, says merchandise, or on all the videos, you see the little pictures of the images, shirts, hats, cups, whatever. Click on one of them and take you to the big page, and then you can go to work that way as well. But definitely hope you enjoy the book. Also, I'm trying to think. I don't know if Angel is up. I haven't seen Angel just yet. But
Still
he's
dodging you.
No. I finally connected with him.
Okay.
So I was gonna let him know, hey, your stuff will be there on Friday. I was gonna let him know, but I don't know if he's on right now.
Well, we got an upper room member, right?
Oh, yes. Joshua Traverse. Welcome to the upper room. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Let's go.
Let me read this super chat. We got more to this story, this Kyler story.
Uh-oh.
Zick Shazier wanted to say what's good. Currently on episode 265, so he's just getting caught up.
No, I like it.
But he's checking in on the live, so we appreciate that.
Well, that's pretty dope. I like that concept, too. Even though you haven't caught up with all the other ones, definitely tune into the live. The live is be popping. You know the live's always popping.
The chat's always bumping.
Yeah.
Steeler Lee says, checking Twitter. It looks like Kyler Murray is threatening to go into baseball.
To go into baseball? Oh, so he really mad.
Come on.
But you pull up the Twitter.
Okay.
Is it from him verified, like, or is it valuable source? I need to see.
There's no way he's saying anything. It's
don't
got to
think
be some verified people. All right, here it is.
It is
Kyler
verified.
Murray curiously scrubs Cardinals from his social media, but I got to probably type in baseball as a keyword here.
Yeah.
Or MLB. Kyler Murray baseball. Okay.
Coming to Pittsburgh?
Dude, this is, I think, speculation. People are just popping up images of him in the A's unis.
I don't know.
Nah, this
You're not saying anything from him about that, right?
No, it's DraftKings saying
okay.
Kyler Murray unfollowed, and then all of a sudden you just see an A's picture.
Picks. Okay, I was going to say Raheem. Oh, they want to do that.
It's just people speculating.
Okay, so yeah.
That's what I'm thinking. There's no way. I mean, his contract coming up is going to be $35-40 million.
Yeah,
with
baseball
football.
Ain't paying that.
Baseball, you're starting from scratch.
He's going to ride on the Greyhounds.
Yeah,
staying with roommates. He ain't doing that.
There's no way.
Not a chance.
The Pirates could use Kyler, though, they're saying.
Will we let him be a two-sport athlete?
That's what I mean. Yeah, we would, actually. Yeah.
We would?
Oh, yeah.
Franchise quarterback of the Pittsburgh Steelers could be a...
We need everything for the Pirates. We need everything.
I'm just surprised that you'll be willing to risk, some Steelers success for the Pirates.
Right.
I'm biased. I don't like the Pirates like that. I ain't gonna lie to you. I don't like them like that.
That might be a little too far. You might be right.
Like, I watch them and I support them because they're local and my son loves them. But for me, I like the Yankees. I'm cool on that, man. I ain't risking that man for that. Nah, heck no.
It would make the games fun, though.
I would definitely go to the games.
Right. Exactly.
I would probably be a season ticket holder. Just for the sake of it.
We can't be doing that at the expense of the Steelers, potentially. And getting an injury in baseball, especially being the Pirates.
Yes. Yes.
If we're in contention, playoffs, all that type of stuff, that could be fun.
It wouldn't be fun because it was, like, limited. It's like, the Pirates,
well, it's going to be insanity, too. Did you ever see that 30 for 30 with Dion?
Oh, yeah.
Whenever he did
absolutely.
the playoff game, 2 games in a day.
It was nuts, man.
It's just insanity. Yeah. It would be too much of a media storm.
Yeah.
Yeah, we don't need that.
Yeah, I'm with you. But it's interesting about Kyler, man. So shout out to, I don't know who brought that up in the chat about the college situation, but no, that's definitely interesting, man. We'll continue to monitor it, man.
Yeah.
Keep our eyes on said situation.
100%.
All righty. So now, if you are ready, we can get to this second topic.
Oh, yeah.
I'm excited about this one as well, man, because get the thing popping back up here. Boom, boom. Yeah, well, we had the Senior Bowl this weekend, man. Obviously there's a lot of prospects that we've been talking about, that we've had our eyes on, potential draft guys, because we do have some holes that we got to fix, man, and some holes that we got to fill. So I'm excited about that. And also, I had asked people in the chat the other day to, send some prospects that they want us to look at, some guys they want us to break down. And for anybody that hasn't, if you have prospects that you want, hey, man, Moats, talk about these guys. Send it to moatswinners@gmail.com. Just my last name, Moats, and then winners, not winters, winners@gmail.com. Just send your email in there, man, with your list of the names of players and stuff like that, man. And I would get to them, break them down and stuff like that, we're about to do. And just for example, some of the names of the guys that we're going to be breaking down today has come from, let's see, I'll pull up the names because I got the email right here, right?
Sure.
So let's see.
Show
man, we had
emails
from Brandon.
Works.
I'm about to say we had emails from Brandon Clark, Todd. Let's see. Man, this is like a crazy hashtag name. I don't really know how to pronounce that. K Buckley 90 though, giving us some players as well, man. Nick Y, Gavin Schneider, absolutely, man. Talking about Carson Strong, we'll definitely get to him. Carson McGrail as well, and Darren Dalton. So trust me on this, man. Y'all keep sending the emails. Definitely keep doing that, man. I will keep getting these players broken down, and come up on the show and we'll talk about them. So for today, as we react to some of these names that were on the list from the Senior Bowl, we're really going to focus on the 6 quarterbacks because I had a lot of people asking about all 6 of these guys. Absolutely. But then we also had a couple of linebackers I want to talk about as well afterwards. All right. So first guy that we'll talk about is your boy Kenny Pickett, man.
Yeah.
Now, you had a chance to tune in as well, man. So for me, or do you want to go first or you want me to go first with that?
I could go first.
Oh, yeah, you go ahead.
I thought he looked fine.
Mm-hmm.
Wasn't anything crazy. Wasn't in long enough. 6 for 6. What was it? 60-something yards and a touchdown. Underthrew the one. Probably could have been a for sure touchdown, but ended up scoring on the drive anyway, so it didn't really matter like that much. And maybe you could tell me if I'm wrong on this. Maybe he was underthrown in a way where if he would have let him, the safety could have jacked him up. But it seemed like the safety was far enough away. It still should have been like a walk-in touchdown. Maybe I'm stretching there. Maybe I'm giving some benefit of my doubt to one of my Pitt alumni. I thought he looked fine. I don't think he did anything that hurt his draft stock because even some of like the little 10-yard passes he was making, he looked on point. So, yeah, he looked good to me.
Yeah, for me, starting with Kenny Pickett. First off, he was named the MVP for the practice week for the national team.
Really?
Yeah, Malik Willis was the one for the American team as well.
Who's quarterbacks on his? It was Ritter
and he had Ritter
and Strong.
And then for Pickett was with
that was
Pickett. For Malik, he had
he
Sam
had the short
Howell
quarterbacks.
and Bailey.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the thing that I liked about Kenny was this. I thought, number one, he looked very confident.
Yeah.
I thought that he got the offense in and out the huddle good. And why do I bring that up? That's your leadership. That's your maturity element of it, right? When you see how quick and clean guys are getting lined up, getting in and out the huddle, that's important because the faster they get lined up, the more time that quarterback has to process, the more time that quarterback has to go through his checks, hard count, etc. So I definitely like that about Kenny. I thought that showed. I thought that his mechanics and accuracy looked good as well. Outside of the one throw that you were talking about where it was a little underthrown, I thought as a whole his mechanics looked good. Even though, the touchdown pass, it was more so on the blown coverage. You look at the ball placement. He puts it in front where the guy can catch it and go. He can catch it and run, which is important. You throw it behind him, that guy has to spin, stop his feet. Now in that blown coverage, those guys might be able to get back
even
in
the
position.
Ability to recognize the coverage
Absolutely,
like that, get it
man.
to him quick.
Absolutely. So those are some of the things that I definitely liked. In terms of the negative or any potential negatives, the throw that was a little underthrown, part of me thought that was a little bit with the footwork. I didn't think it was anything crazy, though. I don't question, can he make that throw? I think at times you're going to have bad throws. I mean, Malik has them. All of the quarterbacks have them. I'm not as concerned about that throw right there because at the end of the day, if that's your miss was still with a 30-yard completion. So when we're doing the context of your misses and comparing it to some of the other misses, it's like, no, that's still a good miss in my book. In terms of the sack,
it wasn't picked because
right.
the other misses you saw from
were
Zappy,
interceptions.
yeah, exactly, underthrows,
and that's a big difference to me. And obviously Kenny Pickett got sacked as well. Now the sack was on the protection, that wasn't on him. I know there were other guys that got sacked, and we will break down those sacks because some of it were the quarterbacks holding the ball too long. But with Kenny, it was the blowing. The blocking assignment was definitely messed up. I don't know if it was the center or the guard, but they definitely turned that inside backer free, and then the edge guy just beat the right tackle, and that was going on with his sack. So I didn't think that was a negative on him. But as a whole, I thought he looked good. I thought that, I don't think he did anything to wow us or
I don't
make
think he
it
was
a
in
negative.
long enough.
But yeah, and all of those guys, though, and that's the problem with these type of games, you get a quarter audition, and depending on, did you get a drop? Was it a penalty? Whatever. That type of stuff can affect your performance or affect your audition. But for Kenny, I thought that in his time on the field, I don't think he did anything to hurt himself. Now,
Nope.
I was hearing the reports, and the commentators kept talking about this in terms of him having a little bit of an up and down week in practice.
But he won MVP.
Yeah, and that was the part for me where I was like, I wish I could have got more details on that. But that's just right now with the Senior Bowl, because it's this year's Senior Bowl, we don't got access to all of that stuff just yet.
Yeah, I was surprised when you said he won MVP for his team because I was hearing way more buzz about Malik Willis, obviously, and even like Zappy. Carson Strong was getting some practice.
No, he definitely
buzz,
was.
too.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely.
With Pickett, I mean, going back to like the leadership thing, I thought he handled himself good in interviews too.
He definitely did, man.
Whenever they kept bringing up the hand size, you could tell he was getting annoyed by it, but he's just like, you know what? No, I'm confident in my abilities. I played in Pittsburgh, Heinz Field. Obviously, I could throw the ball pretty good.
Right.
You see my performance. The one, too, he even was questioned about why should you go number one. Malik Willis said, like, man, I ain't even about that.
Yeah, he said, I ain't even worried about it.
We're just all trying to help each other, like get better and stuff. Like that'll come into place. But Pickett was like, yeah, like that's what I do. Like I'm just out here to show that, prove that. So no, I thought he was good. I liked both answers though too. Just
I do as well.
They're different ways to do it.
But and also when you hear Kenny talk versus Malik, they're very different people also. And like I said, not in a negative way, just different. Like, for example, Kenny Pickett after the game, right? He's like, yo, I'm about to go get me, was it the natty lighter, the icy lighter? I forgot it was what
when we won.
Yeah, when they won, right?
Yeah.
Whereas like you think of Malik is like, man, we got quarterbacks out here that go to Bible study. They want to talk about guys. It's like, it's not a negative. It's just, they're just different people. So when you hear their responses,
he's legit then. I know Liberty's like a Christian school, so
he's
Malik's
like
into it like that.
Yeah. So it's like when you hear it, I'm like, yeah, one does sound like, yeah, because in Christianity, it's like, yo, we're all in this. Damn it, I want all of us to do well. And it's like, yo, he's just a humble guy and it's dope. But for Kenny, it's like, I do this. Like, I'm here to be me. Like, yeah. So I love both of them. I think both of them were very humble in their responses, but both of them were very confident as well.
Yep.
Because to say either answer in that climate, man, that's not an easy thing to do. For you to say, yo, you know why I'm here. Oh, I'm here because I think I should be that guy. That takes confidence, but also to say, I don't think I have to be number one. That'll sort itself out. I'm here for everybody to do well. It's like, bro, I ain't gonna lie. When I went to the combine, I wasn't saying I wanted everybody to do well. In fact, I was the opposite. I said, I'm gonna cook. I hope the rest of y'all fall at the start position so I could look really good out here.
Pickett gave the Burrow answer, and Malik gave the Russ answer.
Yeah, I was definitely Burrow energy. It's like, yo, I don't care about none of them. It's me y'all want to see. But no, as a whole, though, man, I definitely liked what I saw from Kenny, though, man. I definitely
I'm with
did.
you. Yeah, he was fine. I don't think he did anything. I got to see him at Pitt, so seeing him in this
Pro Bowl,
or not Pro Bowl, like a preseason type of atmosphere, it's like, all right. I'm just happy he didn't do anything to hurt himself. Right. That was my main thing.
Well, and that was, but when you talk about the maturity, you've downplayed it. You call it Pro Bowl. You're like, man, it's an extra game in preseason, stuff like that. For those guys, it's not that. For those guys, that game is more important than any game they played this year outside of a national championship, because this is going to determine them making it to the NFL or not. This is going to determine you going top 10 versus second round, which is a difference of like $20 million. So for those guys, that was a very, very important thing. But I thought that Kenny definitely handled it well. Like I said, it never looked like it was too big for him. The moment was overwhelming him. And that was something that I can't necessarily say about every player that was in that Senior Bowl. Some of those guys that were talked about, some of those guys that had a lot of hype about them, they did at times look a little underwhelming to me, some of these guys, man. And we'll talk about them even more. But yeah, but to close it on Kenny, we both said good performance by him.
Yeah. Yep.
Fair enough.
Net positive.
Yeah. All right. Next up, Malik Willis, the other big name quarterback that was talked about a ton. You want to go first with him as well?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
I liked what I saw from him, dude. Now, there was a lot of buzz surrounding him through this week, and you talk about performing. I think he did that. He made some really nice outside throws that aren't going to get picked up because I think they were called back for penalties. But I mean, on the point, on like pinpoint accuracy, like from one hash to the other, I like that. Obviously, the running ability, dude, he led his team in rushing, and
it was crazy. He
only in one quarter. Yeah, 50-something yards.
Nuts, bro.
Now maybe you could say the last one is a little inflated because it was the last play of the quarter. Yeah. They just didn't want to let him score, so he was able to run a little bit. But anyway, you saw him flash some dynamic playmaking because he went from one side of the field to the other.
I was about to say, even though that was like the chunk yards, that was also probably like one of the more impressive runs as well by him, man.
Yeah. No, I liked his game. The only bad thing I thought from him was maybe the one that he threw off of his back foot, the bomb up kind of in double coverage. But I don't know if I'm stretching on this one, too, because I like Malik Willis. He threw it in a good spot where the defender's not going to be picking it off. It was almost like the receiver had to come back for it. It corner right by the out of bounds. Ended up being a pass interference anyway. So that worked in a positive way.
And I remember he threw that because that was the whole end of the quarter, end of the half scenario where he was trying to just flip the field, if I remember correctly. Right?
Oh, was that it? Maybe that was why.
Yeah, because that was why. It was on the left side of the field, right? You got the PI.
It was the left side.
Yeah. That's what it was. They were saying because the quarter was about to end and they knew they weren't going to get a possession. It was like a 4-second possession.
I didn't realize that.
They threw the deep bomb to get the penalty to flip the field, and then he had the untimed down was where he did the running thing. But yeah, that's what kept throwing me off though, because the timing of when they were saying end of the quarter but treating it like end of half and then switching the possession. It was weird.
Yeah, new quarterback.
That was so weird, bro.
Switch the possession.
Yeah, but that was definitely why he threw that, because it was like, oh, it's a 4-second possession. I'm like, what? Like, yeah, it was wacky, bro.
Okay, I didn't understand that in the moment, but you're right. Looking back on that, no, I thought he did really well. Actually, got me amped. Like, I think his stock. There's no reason that he didn't do anything negative to his stock. If anything, I think it goes up from that game.
Yeah, for me, I ain't gonna cut you off.
I'm good.
Yeah, for me, man, I agree. I thought Malik definitely improved his stock. Definitely helped himself out. A couple of things, man. When you talk about Malik, some of the question marks were quality of opponents, right? You played at Liberty. It wasn't like you played in the SEC or the ACC or even the Pac-12, Big Ten. So you have question marks of your athletic ability that we see on tape. Is that because of the quality that you're playing against, or are you really that guy when you're in the open field? Can you make guys miss? Do you run by guys that are NFL quality? We saw that. We got a chance to see that multiple times. You talk about that last run that he had. That was impressive because, like you said, he started up on the right side, cuts all the way across the field, and then still has burst of run by guys. You see him doing that. I also like the fact that he was very decisive when he decided to run. It wasn't a lot of, all right, let me scramble to the right, scramble to the left, scramble backwards, and then try to get out of this. It was like, man, when he decided he was going to run, he pulled that ball down and took off, and you could see the gear that he played with compared to the other guys that were out there. I mean, the speed jumped off the screen. So for me,
and he wasn't even going as fast as they were clocking him in at like 18. They said he was getting up to 20 at points.
Yeah, absolutely. Because they were saying his fastest time was 20.4. And I think Kyler Murray's fast time this past season was like 20.7. So they were like, when he really goes, he's a thicker version of Kyler Murray. So I was like, man, all right. Or in terms of the running, not everything else, but just the running part of it. They say he's a thicker version of Kyler right there. So like I said, I definitely like that. I thought his athletic ability, his athleticism was on full display with some of the scrambles, some of the runs that he did. I also like this. The same way we talked about Kenny Pickett looking in control, being very mature in terms of getting guys in and out the huddle. I do like the fact that he was working the cadence early. You think about some of his snaps, man. The first snap he had, he gets the guy to jump all sides. Now, the more he did it, obviously it got a little bit mixy with some of the O-linemen and stuff like that. When those guys jump, it can throw you off. But as a whole, I do like the fact that he was trying to work cadence, because cadence is a weapon, especially when you saw how some of those D-linemen, man, they were starting to have their way with them tackles. They were starting to get after those guys a little bit. You could see the discrepancy. It was like, whoa. Wait a minute.
We sure we want to draft linemen?
Yeah, I was like, I don't know about these tackles right now. This is not looking good. But cadence can take some of that off. Cadence makes you as a rusher. I can't just say as soon as he says go, I'm hauling tail. I have to wait. I have to react. And that can give that tackle a split second an advantage, right? So I like the fact that he was working that. Some of the other things that I did that I also like was that he showed more snaps under center. Mm-hmm. A lot of those quarterbacks did. Most of these guys operated exclusively out the gun, because they were in that air raid type offense where they're going to just spread it out, and get to work. But to see him have to be under center a lot more, it was good to see some of the play action stuff. It was good to see his mobility within the pocket, his understanding of how to climb in the pocket as well. I will say, though, a couple of his red flags have showed up in this game, and it's stuff that's on tape, but it's fixable. When you talk about some of the inconsistency throwing the ball with his footwork, you think about the out that he missed. It wasn't that he didn't have the arm or anything like that, but you look at his footwork, his feet weren't set the right way. For Malik, when you watch him on Liberty, you watch his tape from Liberty, some of the throws that he misses is because his footwork is out of whack. But like we talked about, one of the reasons why I don't feel as bad about it is because with Mike Sullivan here and what he was able to do with Dwayne Haskins and his footwork, based on Washington tape versus this preseason, I could personally see a big improvement in terms of just how collected and how just more fundamentally sound he was. So for Malik, that showed up again, sure, but he can improve that. He also held the ball too long at times as well. It's one of the things that makes him a good quarterback, is because he's able to extend plays, he's able to use his legs and get him out of trouble, but it also got him sacked. Yeah. It also cost him a couple of times where he ended up having to scramble. But it's like, man, if you just hit that first window, if you just wait and you see this right here, you can hit that, and it's a way better situation for you. Those are some of the things with Malik that he still has to improve upon, he still has to work on. But as a whole, I thought that he did look really good out there. Like I said, man, with him, he's one of those guys, because of that athletic, that dynamic for him, it just makes him so much more intriguing to me because of that part.
It's what we don't have on the roster.
You're right,
now.
We don't.
And I think, now I don't know how you feel about if we draft him, starting him right away. Mm-hmm. I'd be all gung-ho for that. But I do think the athletic ability and the running could help us get away from games as his passing develops, as his footwork develops. Because you're telling me he's putting up 90, 100 on the ground. With what he even has right now, I think he's got a good arm and can make all these throws. It's just some of the stuff that you talked about he needs to clean up. I think we could win with that.
For a fact, we could win with that. And like I said, that's why you're starting to hear more people try to point him to the Steelers. They're trying to link that together right there.
I'm getting worried,
I understand it, man.
I think he's going to go in the top 15, top 10.
Well, depending on the mocks. I mean, I've seen mocks where they've had 3 quarterbacks go before they get to us. Because when you talk about some of the quarterback-needy teams, Washington, Denver, Carolina, that's 3 off the top of our head, not even counting if anyone tries to trade up in there. The Giants, they're another team
People
potentially.
Are talking about us trading up with the Jets. Jets at 10?
Yeah,
I think they're at 10.
Yeah, because Washington's at 11, if I remember correctly.
That's what it is. Yeah.
So it's like, man, I can see a scenario where we
give
might
up.
I don't know. That's the thing. I don't know.
What did we give up for Bush? We didn't give up another first rounder.
I don't think we did. No, I don't remember the exact package though for Devin. I just remember the move, but I don't remember the package though.
Damn.
But that is something that it's like, man, with Malik, and honestly, this is the part that hurts us with Malik. It doesn't hurt us with Kenny because Kenny we've already viewed as he was going to be the best prospect, or he was the best prospect going into the Senior Bowl. So you knew he was going to be going earlier. With Malik, though, it was like, well, hey, if you can't get a Kenny, well, hey, Malik is available to you. He'll be back there. But the better Malik, with Malik playing the way that he did in the Senior Bowl throughout the weekend of the game, you know he's going to kill the combine in pro day. In terms of, hey, you're throwing off of a script and I need you to go run, you're going to have the fastest time when you run. We know that. You're going to wow the people athletically.
He'll give a Zach Wilson throw or something.
Exactly. So for me, I'm like, man, this is the part that kind of hurts us because that's going to continue to make his stock go up. But for me, man, I just think that, dude, he might be worth looking into if we're talking about having to trade up. I could see it.
If we kill free agency, kill free agency and we got most of our spots locked up, I'm for it. Yeah, I'm in on Willis, and if we do pick it, I like it because Pitt guy story and all that. But those are the two. Yeah. That's really it. I don't know if I really want to draft anyone else.
Yeah, for me, man, I'll probably lean Willis first just because
that's
the
how
athletic
I'm leaning
element.
Too, actually.
But I don't hate it if Kenny is there and we get him because I still think Kenny can come in and do some things. The more I watch him, the better I feel about him. I think that he's one of those guys that I get why people try to keep saying, well, he's just older. That's why he was better. But it's like, no, man, he's fundamentally sound. You watch him, he looks mature. Now, part of that is the age. But at the same time, I don't care how old you are. You still got to display it. You still got to execute it. You still have to be a productive player. And when you cut the tape on with Kenny, that is there. The fundamentals are why he's productive. Not because he's an older quarterback. It's just, no, he's a fundamentally sound guy. And with fundamentals, it guarantees your floor will never be bad. It guarantees your floor is never going to be JV. And as long as you got that, man, we can get the rest of it to develop more. So I'm good if either one of those guys were available to us and we decided to go that route. I don't hate either one of that.
We're on the same page then.
No.
That's how I'm thinking too.
Yeah, I'm surprised you went Malik first though, because I know you got the Pitt connection. For me, Malik, man, it just jumps off the screen. Like,
I think maybe part of it too is Canada being around.
Fair enough, yeah.
I think definitely get maybe that's a little bit part of it. And also him bringing that dynamic that we don't have currently on the roster with Mason and Haskins. Yeah. Maybe something different to bring to the table. Whereas with Pickett, I think we're getting a little bit more of the same. Mm-hmm. But there's a reason he's going to be going in the first round. Like, Pickett's good.
Yeah. No, he definitely is, bro. He definitely is.
I know I might be biased with him being at Pitt and stuff, but, I mean, it'd be a really cool story. So
well, and I think another thing is this, too. When we talk about this quarterback class, we say it doesn't have your clear-cut alpha guy. This is the guy that everybody has to get. But it doesn't necessarily mean it's a bad class. And I think that people don't understand.
And you don't know what it's going to be three or 4 years down the line. Because right now, let's be honest, last year's class sucks up to this point.
Yeah, absolutely. I just think that this class is still good. They have good, like these quarterbacks we're talking about, they're all good in some capacity. It's just we don't necessarily know of any of them because they all have some type of flaw with them. It's like, man, I can see this guy being a good quarterback, but can he be a franchise quarterback? I don't know. He's missing this part. Well, can he develop it? Well, that's what we got to see. Whether you're talking Kenny, whether you're talking Malik, whether you're talking Desmond Ridder, whether you're talking Carson Strong, Bailey Zappi, Sam Howell, all these guys are good in some fashion, but they all have question marks. But I am glad that we're on the same page, though. Like I said, with the quarterback. This is rare that we're on the same page with quarterbacks. It makes me nervous.
Are you with me then? It's those two. I don't know if I really want to draft anyone else.
For me right now.
Especially in the first round.
Because that's the context I'm speaking of, first round. Like when we talk second and third round, I think it changes. But first round, I'm with you as I stand today. Was it February 7th? If it's not Pickett or Malik, I personally don't want to draft any of the other quarterbacks in the first round. Emphasis on first round, all right? But with that being said, we'll talk about some more prospects, though, because I think that part is different. Like, if we're saying second or third round, it's night and day. But that first round, because of, how much, the players that are available to you, when you miss on a first-round pick, it just hits a little harder because you start to look around like, there's a lot of talented guys right here that we could have hit on.
Inside linebacker, could have been a staple center that we took instead.
Yeah, so that changes stuff when you miss on first-rounders.
And if you're telling me the quarterback we're drafting might not play this year, might be sitting a little. I don't want to do that because I think we could have a decent team this year. I really do.
No, absolutely, man. All right, but we did get Q. Q responded in terms of we asked about the Devin Bush. We were saying we didn't know the package for the deal.
He got it for us.
Yeah,
nice.
He said we gave up a first, second, and third round pick for Devin Bush. The first and second were for that particular year, and the third, I don't know what year that was for. That might have been the following year.
Might have been the following.
Yeah, but that makes sense
because
Devin was the first round pick. Yeah, I'm trying to think. And
that's not terrible then.
Yeah,
it's basically for us. Are we getting any of these third round comp picks?
Matt Filer potentially,
Bud
Bud
and Mike
Dupree,
Hilton.
Mike Hilton. I'm trying to think who we brought in. Ingram didn't have a deal
So
like that.
just be giving up a second round pick.
Yeah, because I was saying
essentially.
Ingram's deal wasn't crazy. Trey Turner's deal wasn't crazy in terms of like money. Because usually I think Fowler's deal was probably the cheapest, and he was a what 3 for $20.
He got 7.
Yeah,
I think him and Hilton got around
Right.
7. Buddy got a big contract.
yeah. So we should at least have some type of comps coming in. So
Okay, that's
Yeah.
not terrible then. I mean,
Change
going
a little
from
bit.
20 to 10 is different from going to like 20 to top 3.
no, absolutely,
That's not terrible. As long as we don't have to give up another first round pick for like next year.
Yeah.
If it's just a second round. Maybe you could even make it the second round for 2023. That's not terrible. It's not terrible, especially if we like Willis.
We shall see. We shall see. Whew. Desmond Ridder.
I thought he had the best showing, actually. I don't know if it's just stats-wise, but, I mean, the 2 touchdowns made it look easy out there. I don't know if that was the offense helping him out because he did have his running back kind of dominate the offense on the first drive that he had and the first time that they scored. But, no, I think he looked pretty good. Now, I don't know how much that changes his stock compared to, like, Pickett or Malik Willis for me. I just think he had the best outing out of everyone.
Yeah, so
Looked mobile out there, made some good throws. So, yeah, I thought Ridder had the best performance.
I like it. All right. You good?
I'm good, yeah.
So for me, man, I enjoyed Desmond. I thought that 2 things that really jumped off the screen to me. I thought at first it was a lot of handing off the ball. Kind of what you said. Like they were definitely playing through the running game, the running back when he took over versus when you watch Kenny and Malik, they definitely got more opportunities to throw early on.
Yeah, he was like the Tannehill offense almost.
Yes. It was definitely
Rollouts,
Tannehill.
a lot of rollouts.
But that was the next thing. I was like, number 1, a lot of handoffs, but number 2, nice touch and mechanics on play action pass.
Yeah.
I never knew because I didn't watch a lot of Cincinnati tape outside of the game against Georgia. I'm still gonna go back and watch a lot more of him, obviously. But with Desmond, I just didn't think of him as a play action pass guy. It looked more pro style. It looked, like I said, a ton of under center, but it reminded me of Tannehill in the sense of a lot of rollouts. But I thought his touch on some of the throws were good. I like how he was able to. They were calling it like going over the fence, right? Over the linebackers, but shallower than the safeties, but doing it on the move. I thought that he looked like a smooth runner as well. There was a time where I think it was DeMarco Jackson. I think he was a linebacker that was chasing after him. He comes down on a, I don't even think it was a blitz. He was just, I think, almost hug rushing on a play action pass type situation. Desmond barely sees him, but he's able to get over top of him and escape the pocket. Ultimately gets up a nice gain. I think he's picking up a first down. But just showing off that, hey, he's mobile. He's not fast, but he's a long stride guy, if that makes sense. Like he covers ground, but he's not necessarily a crazy acceleration guy. I liked all of that, but I also thought that he just looked comfortable. And I keep bringing that up with those guys because the other guys we're going to talk about at times, they did not look comfortable like that. But Desmond, he just looked seasoned. He reminded me of like I don't want to say a better version of Tannehill because obviously Tannehill has had success in the league, but I just thought he looked
like,
if
he becomes Tannehill, I'd say that's a success for his career.
I would definitely say that as well. But he put me in that framework of that's Yeah,
I wouldn't have said
play action, hit the pass you got to hit, but he did it. I thought he moved out the pocket really well with some of his throws though, man.
Yeah, it looked very comfortable. I wouldn't have said he had the best performance based off that first touchdown drive, but with him coming in, I think it was the fourth quarter. They made it so what was it, like 3 or 4 plays? Like he had a really nice pass to get the drive going, and then another PA rollout. A lot of it was done by the receiver, but still hit the throw, hit him right in stride.
Yeah.
So the 2 touchdowns, I got to give him credit for that. I thought he had the best performance.
Yeah.
Like, did you see any negatives? I don't think there was any really negatives.
Honestly, the biggest negative that I had was that he just handed off a lot on that first drive, and the only reason I say it's a negative for him, positive for the running back. It's a negative for the running back when the quarterback's throwing the ball because you can't evaluate him. It's kind of like when you heard the people, I think they were talking about the fair catch. It was like, why don't we see a lot of fair catches? These punt returners are like returning just wacky stuff. And it's like, man, if you fair catch that ball, I can't evaluate you.
Yeah.
If you hand this ball off, even though your team is having success running the ball and it's looking good on your drive chart, I don't know if you can throw the ball. I don't know if you can handle pressure. I don't know if you can maneuver outside the pocket and throw on the run. I don't know if you're going to get confused when they show cover 1, but then they go to cover 2 afterwards. Like, that was part of the thing for me where I was like, and that's why I said I'm going to go back obviously and watch a lot more on those guys as well, because when you talk about first round picks, potentially, or even second round picks, like, it's significant. It's definitely significant. But as a whole, I just thought he looked so, like, just smooth. That's like I was like, yo, this dude is smooth. I don't know him think, remember we talked about Haskins? We was like, yo, Haskins just looks smooth at times.
Yeah.
So he just looks smooth. Just come out the pocket. Pow.
Yeah, I thought he looked good. I wasn't expecting him to make another appearance in that fourth quarter, fourth period, whatever the hell you want to call it, whatever they were doing.
It was super weird, that whole dynamic, man.
Yeah, I thought he looked good.
I like it. Now, we did have a couple supers that came in to give some info. Caleb Cole, he says he read Bud did not play enough this season for a comp
Oh,
pick.
my God.
See, I'm not aware of that right there. All right, we're going to have to look into those details, man.
Oh, my God.
Because I know it's a Formula 4 that involves, I'm sure, playing time, but definitely the money of the contract definitely has a big consideration in it. So I will see
That'd
even
be
more so
terrible. I'll read some of these other off real quick.
All right.
Farron Bradford says, don't fall for the hype. If we trade up, it needs to be for Tyler Lindenbaum or Trevor Penning. So I guess he doesn't want to fall for the quarterback hype specifically. He wants other positions. Yeah,
Fair
you
enough.
read Caleb Cole. Mr. Franny Granny. I hope we get Linderbaum so badly. Side note, listening to Moatsy 2 times in one day, it's different.
Hey, yo, shout out to you, man. Salute. I was doing I had the radio this morning, man.
Oh, he tuned in for that?
Yeah.
Nice.
Man. It's the SNR family. Me and my homie Wes over there. Let's get it.
Brady Howe. Well, we already know this, but thanks
Yeah.
for the super chat.
No, absolutely, man.
Kyler Murray unfollowed the Cardinals on IG. And he's like pondering it a little bit.
Yeah. Trust me, Brady, we talked about that. We will have a smaller video for you after the live is over, so you can get that content exclusively just for you, baby. But yeah, man.
Let's go, UW. Just to bring up the lines here, but if it turns out Tuitt is gone this offseason, there's a lot of good defensive tackle talent here. UConn DT Travis Jones would be the top guy if we want to address the position. Yeah, we talked, especially the Georgia guy too.
Yeah, absolutely. Jordan Davis, absolutely, man. And that's why I keep saying, man, because obviously for us, we have our prospects that we know, we have guys that we're looking at. But hey, if you got a guy like, a Travis Jones or whoever, because remember, Let's Go UW was the one to put us on with Chad Muma. Whoever y'all think, prospects that y'all want us to talk about, y'all want us to look into more. Like I said, just send that email to moatswinners@gmail.com. We will watch the tape, give you breakdowns on those guys, man. All righty. Next on the list, Sam Howell.
Dude, low-key, I actually thought he played pretty good. Low-key, I'm not going to lie. His problem was the ball security and fumbling.
Fumbled twice?
Yeah, his line was not doing him any favors.
No.
They were getting torched.
It was bad, bro.
I thought he stood tough in the pocket, though. Delivered some nice passes. Had some pop in the arm, too, actually. For being that small, we compare him to Baker. Dude,
I know. I'm laughing because it's the truth.
He wasn't bad, man.
Oh, man.
I know he was like our ACC rival in a sense, or you were comparing him to Pickett, who's the better quarterback and stuff. And I was ripping on Howe throughout the season because I do still think Pickett's better. But maybe it's because the expectations were low. I was actually kind of impressed by Howe. Some of the RPOs he was doing, the scrambling, he was showing some athleticism. Yeah, I liked what I saw from Howe, actually. I don't know to draft him in the first round. I already told you that. I don't really want to draft any of these QBs outside of Willis or Pickett in the first. But all right. I'm seeing some stuff from Howe there.
I'll say that. Are you finished?
Yeah.
So, man, Howe, shout out to him, man, because he was definitely under fire.
There was a drop, too.
Yeah, but he was under fire a lot. I thought that once that, because he came in right after Malik, and even Malik dealt with some of this as well. That unit, their O-line, and this is what we both said, like, man, I know y'all saying this is a deep class, but, man, some of them O-linemen look bad. Now,
all seniors, maybe there's some juniors that are good.
Maybe that's what it is. I'm hoping that's what it is, because Malik was running for his life at some times. Early on with Sam, I was like, yo, I can't evaluate him because he's under duress. It's like, man, he's not dropping back straight. He's having to dodge this guy step up, and I'm like, okay, I could critique him and say he needs to see this receiver faster. But when these D linemen are coming up on him like that, like, how can I fault him at the same time? So with him, I would say this, man. I thought that his toughness was the first thing that showed up. I love the toughness from him. That was one of the things that, even though we keep doing the comparisons, that is one of the parts that reminded me of Baker, in the sense of we've seen Baker get hit. We've seen Baker have some bad times. But the one thing for Baker is this. He going to show up. He going to be talking. He going to show up. But that's his thing. That's what makes him tough. And I thought for Sam, he definitely displayed that even when things weren't going well, when he was getting sacked and he had the fumble, like, he still looked like he believed. Another thing that I thought that I continue to like about Sam is his mechanics. I like his mechanics a lot. I think that
maybe there was a reason he was supposed to be the number one pick.
Like Sam Howell and honestly the other guy, Bailey Zappi, I think both of those guys' mechanics, like just the consistency of it, every throw. Like I really enjoy watching that with those guys. But Sam, man, I thought on his play action pass, because that was something that we don't necessarily see a lot of on tape when you're watching them in college, because it was spread. You get to see him roll out, and I thought that he did have good mechanics in terms of not just good depth on the rollout, but also getting his shoulders north and south, getting his body coming back downhill on some of those throws. And that's the difference between you being accurate coming downhill versus when your shoulders are still facing this, when you're trying to throw it across your body. You have way more movement with the ball. And as a defender, it's a lot easier for us to get PBUs, interceptions, because now that accuracy isn't where it needs to be. But when you watch Sam, in particular in this game right here, I thought that he was definitely really locked in to the fundamentals of that. I thought that the arm strength was on display, like you talked about as well. And I also thought that in his little pseudo 2-minute drill, I thought at the beginning of it started out really nice. I thought he had I thought he did a good job using his arms and legs to escape some of the pressure. I thought as a whole, even though Malik,
you're right, the 2-minute drive, I even wrote that down. I was like, this is going well. Man. Did he fumble on that one? Is that what happened?
At the end, he got sacked again.
And they rushed the field goal unit out. Is that with the
and they
same
kicked
team?
the 48-yard or whatever.
Yeah.
But for me, when I watched him, I said, even though I thought Malik was definitely the more exciting runner, I thought that Sam was more effective in using it, because he used it to help his O-line.
He did some RPOs.
Because think about it, his O-line was getting cooked. And early on, when they first tried to come in and have him do some traditional drop back stuff, he wasn't having no time. So what did they do? They started to roll him out, move the pocket around. And from there, he was able to use his arm and legs. He would scramble, 5-yard run. But it would keep him on track. And for me, I kept saying to myself, as a defender, I would be so pissed playing against him, because I'm like, man, it's nothing worse where you feel like everything is set and this guy is just getting these leaky yards, 5 yards here, 6 yards here, 3 yards here, because at the end it adds up, and he was keeping those drives going. But that is something that for him, I definitely liked about him. Now, we could say this with every quarterback in terms of pressure affecting him. I just felt like one of the issues you have with shorter quarterbacks, though, is you can't necessarily see things as fast. So short quarterback, O-line questionable, he struggled with that. And that's what he had to go to the RPOs, moving the pocket for him. What do we currently have right now? O-line that's in question. So that was the thing where I'm just comparing. I'm like, man, him, what did he struggle with? Our O-line, would it be different? That's the part that makes me a little bit hesitant with Sam. But I did think that Sam did play a good game. I thought that, man, like I said, his just knowing and utilizing his legs to negate the rush, I definitely like that a lot. I thought he was just smart with that.
I'm with you. Maybe I should have him higher up on my board.
Bro, and can I say, I thought he was a little deceptively fast.
He was. It's like, he scored a touchdown,
was low-key
too.
Sneaky fast. Yeah. I'm like, bro, wait a minute.
If anything, it sounds like we're complimenting him more than anyone else.
I know. But I think we're complimenting him more so because we were a little bit lower on him compared to Pickett and Willis.
Maybe.
Pickett and Willis, we both kind of like, all right, they've separated a little bit. Whereas with Sam, it was like, I don't know. I don't know how I feel about him. But yeah, I definitely thought he looked good, man.
Us drafting him, I'm like,
we both ain't like that.
Hell no. You know what, though? I still don't like the measurables as much. I don't like the thought of him being like Baker. Could he be a better version of Baker? That's different.
That was
I don't
the part
know, though.
For me that I was trying to figure out, because I definitely thought that he was a better runner than Baker. Baker doesn't escape in play action pass. He's not going to be able to get you those 5 seconds. Baker gets caught a lot. When you watch him, when he's trying to escape the pocket with his legs, he gets caught a lot.
No.
Absolutely. I thought with Sam,
he had over 800 yards last year.
No, this is the thing. Like
he
was right with Malik. Yeah. And this is the thing with Sam. Sam is deceptively fast, but he's also a strong runner. You watch him, he's not going down off a ton of arm tackles.
Damn,
you watch him.
We might need to move him up our board, dude.
Like I said, that's my only thing. It's like, it's the Senior Bowl. So I took it in context, but was it a good, really good performance for him? Yes, because it showed things that we didn't see on his UNC tape. You're not going to see necessarily to the extent of some of the things that he had to do because of the quality of talent that was around him, both for him and against him. I just thought that it put him in positions that it showed me some stuff that definitely makes me want to go and look into him a lot more now. But I don't think we're considering him at 20, if that makes sense too. Like, I think Malik, Kenny, they're definitely in play a lot more at 20. I personally haven't got to that point for Sam just yet. because for me, like I said, if it's a short quarter,
we got to grind the tapes.
Yeah,
he's not going to do anything from now till then because it's just going to be
Combine and Pro Day. Yeah.
What's going to change?
Right. And I don't think he's going to test better than Malik.
We might need to do like a deep dive on him, look back on his 2020 season, then 2021.
That's what I want to do.
Because how do you go from top 3, top 5 prospect, probably number 1 overall pick?
From what I've just my brief tape, the talent, it was different. You lose both of your running backs. I think he lost one of the receivers as well. It's like that hurt him in a big way going into this last season. But then at the same time, based on the little bit that I watched in terms of his tapes from this season, it looked as if he was trying to do the hero stuff because he had the expectation to be in a top pick, because he had Heisman aspirations. He wanted to come out here and do the above and beyond. And I just think that he did a little bit too much. Very
Danny
similar
Marino situation.
Or even in the sense of what we talked about with Mahomes earlier in the year. It was like, man, early in the season, what did we say with Mahomes? He was trying to do too much, taking too many risks, holding onto the ball too often. It's like, yo, you don't have to do that. Like, trust your teammates. I just felt like at times Sam didn't necessarily trust those guys, but that's why for me, like I said, I'm going to go back and watch it even more because what he did in his game, it intrigued me.
Yeah, for sure.
It did. I mean, as weird as it is, right? It definitely did.
Yeah, because what would happen with Marino, though, back at Pitt, he was a stud first 3 years, absolute stud. And going into his senior year, same thing. You know, number 1 overall pick, best Q. I mean, it was between him and Elway. I'm guessing going back, but I mean, Heisman for Marino, all this stuff, and he had a terrible senior year. Like it was probably his worst year. So that kind of why it tanked the stock. I know there was some of the off-field stuff that people were spreading rumors about, but no, man. Maybe it's a similar scenario for Howe. Maybe.
Yeah. Like I said, I got to watch more of him, but he definitely.
Yeah, I don't want to go
me, man.
all the way there just yet, but you know what? You're right. Intrigued. Piqued my interest a little bit more than what I thought. Because I only saw Howe for a couple games, and then Kenny outplayed him in the Pitt UNC game. I was like, we don't. Who needs Howe? Come on, we got Pickett here. Get out of here.
I'm with it. I can see it. All right. Next up on the list, Carson Strong. Yes, indeed, ladies and gentlemen, Carson Strong. Thoughts on him? Let you go first.
Worst performance. Stock down for Carson Strong. It's unfortunate.
What's that, God?
Didn't get to see that strong arm. I didn't get to see it.
Lord, Deke, just fillet that man, bro. Why you gotta cook him up like that, bro?
It's sad. He just looked uncomfortable. His pocket awareness was kind of weird, too. Yeah. He would step up in it, but almost he would step up into where the defensive linemen right were. He was able to get some passes off. But no, he just looked a little uncomfortable. That's all. The pick was pretty bad, too, underthrown. That would have been a good opportunity for him to show if he pulls off that pass that he threw the pick on, you'd have been like, oh, holy shit, this guy's the real deal. Now, maybe he just finessed it. It's not like the arm strength wasn't there. Just didn't judge it too well. But no, he probably had the worst performance, I'd say.
Yeah. With Carson Strong, I'll just say this. Senior Bowl definitely wasn't his best performance, but don't close the book on him.
No, I'm not.
Like that's my only thing. And this is with any of those quarterbacks. And this is why even when we talked positively about Sam Howell, what did we say? It was like, yo, it was just one game, small sample size, so we got to compare and contrast. But with Carson, it was a rough go. I mean, a couple of things that jumped off. First off, he had the fumble QB center exchange under center, something that he doesn't do a lot of. Part of that isn't on the center. Part of that's on the quarterback. I don't care who you put it on. At the end of the day, I looked at the film. The film showed the snap going up there. You got to have your hands there. You got to get that ball. It's that simple to me. I didn't like that part. I also thought that as a whole, it wasn't just on him. The center did cost him a little bit on that first drive because not only did he have the fumble under center exchange, but then you also would see some of the ball placement. Yeah. And I thought that as a whole, it wasted an opportunity for Carson. Because when you talk about a game like this where you're at best getting 3 series, you can't have one series go to the trash because you fumble the snap yourself. Then the center gives you 2 kind of wacky, shotgun snaps. So that was a wasted rep for me. The short-armed interception, I don't think he misjudged it. I think he, when I watched it again, it was footwork. He never steps into it. Even though he transfers his body weight, he doesn't do it like how he's done it on tape. When I watch Carson Strong on tape and he cuts it and unleashes that arm, he's stepping into it and he's driving. Now, part of it, I'm asking myself, is it the tackle? Was it the old lineman that was in front of him? Because it was some pressure. It wasn't a ton of pressure. I still felt like he should have been able to step into that thing and throw it. But was that a part of it? I think it was in a sense, but as a whole, mechanically, he has to be more sharp there because you can't have that type of stuff happening where you're underthrowing deep bombs. Because if you can't do that, like what are we talking about here? You don't have the mobility.
Yeah.
So your best attribute is your arm strength.
Yeah,
That's
he was
like
missing some of those short passes too.
Yeah. So it's like for me, when I think of that, I say to myself, like, I'm not concerned about his arm strength. I do think his arm is still crazy strong, probably the strongest in the class or one of the stronger in the class. But mechanics, he has to be better there because you can't have throws coming up short and causing turnovers because your mechanics being the issue. The other thing that I thought about him, I just said that I didn't think he ever got comfortable. You know, when we talked about Malik, we talked about Desmond Ridder, we talked about Kenny Pickett. We said all three of those guys look extremely comfortable. They operated with a sense of maturity, with this a level of, hey, this is what we do. I got this. With Carson, I just never got that sense. Now with Sam, he didn't look as comfortable, but I felt like Sam just used his toughness and did the gritty part. Right. Whereas with Carson, it was just like, almost like, man, you smack a person, you catch them off guard, and they never recover. And it's just kind of like he just kept backing up. I did like one thing that he did, though. He had a nice throw right over the middle of the field where he steps up in the pocket, throws it tight to the tight end. It's three defenders around. That is tight end, too. Yeah, it was. Absolutely it was. Because he had the tight end, he had the receiver in there. I thought that play looked really good. And I thought that was more of what I saw of him watching some of his Nevada tape, and that's why I was a little disappointed with Carson that didn't pop up more. I know you're not gonna wow people with your athletic ability. I think they said that he had a knee injury from high school, and that's why he's never really been able to like improve his mobility and stuff like that. He still deals with it. But it's like, man, if mobility is not your game, you have to be a crazy, efficient, and accurate passer. We said, man, you can survive in this league and still be successful in this league without having mobility, but you have to be very accurate. You have to excel and be above average to an exceptional passer. You have the arm strength in Carson Strong, but the accuracy has to be more consistent. And to me, I think it's more footwork related with him than anything based on what we saw in the Senior Bowl. Now, I'm hoping when I go back and watch more of this Nevada tape that kind of goes back further away. But if it's not, I still don't think he's not, worth a flyer mid-round type situation because, like I said, the arm strength is there, the size is there. The mobility, though, is not. So if you don't have that, you got to have the other alternative, which is pinpoint passing accuracy.
Yeah, I'm with you. I don't think it's anything to completely write him off about. Just sucks for him and probably his draft stock because he was maybe borderline. I don't know. People weren't really talking about him first round, but yeah.
But it was in like second and third round, yeah.
I don't know where this drops him to. Maybe he's still there.
I
don't think it raises him up to first round because maybe he had that potential.
Correct. I think him, no different than Malik. They could have done more to bump themselves up. Malik did, and now we're talking about Malik potentially going earlier. Whereas with Carson, he had that opportunity. I don't think he seized the moment, and now he's kind of where he is. Some people might even say a step back because when you talk about quality of opponents, you're playing in Nevada, you're going against Boise State, you're going against Wyoming. I believe Wyoming's out there in that conference as well. Like it's the Mountain West, stuff like that. It's different when you're playing in the Senior Bowl and it's, oh, that guy played at Georgia. This guy played at Bama. This guy played at that school and that school, and et cetera. Now you don't, we're going to get a chance to see, all right, can you process this as fast? Can you hit this guy when it's a little bit tighter of a window? Like I said, he showed one particular throw that he did it, but I just needed to see a lot more of that, and we just didn't get that chance to see it with Carson.
Yeah, unfortunate for him.
Yeah.
Last guy.
Bailey Zappi.
You know what? You know how you said don't write anyone off?
Mm-hmm.
As much as I want to say that Carson Strong had the worst performance in the Senior Bowl, I've seen Bailey Zappi, and it stuck. I got more confirmation. I got more confirmation.
It turned into duck really fast.
I got more confirmation.
We saw good.
Confident, man.
Bruh, it turned into duck extremely fast.
I've seen this guy. He had a little bit better performance than Strong, I think, because he had more positives. He had a really nice 30-yard throw, the 4th and 22 bomb. But outside of that, I don't think he showed too much, and then that pick at the end was just absolutely egregious.
Yeah.
He was wide open, too. You just got to make a better throw.
Yeah.
Underthrew him, too. There was a lot of underthrows in this game. So I'm writing off Bailey Zappi. He could be our backup.
Yeah.
I've seen it before, though.
Yeah, to me, man, I ain't cutting you off.
I'm good.
No, you. As his performance expanded, it definitely became more and more prevalent that he is Duck Hodges, a higher end Duck Hodges. I thought his first throw was NFL worthy. You watched that deep.
It was nice.
It was like a deep
The
corner
Tennessee
or whatever.
receiver.
Yeah, it was clean. Ball placement, confidence, step right into it, right off the break, the touch, everything. I mean, it was what you wanted. But then you saw, number one, the pressure. He was not able to escape pressure in any capacity at times. It was bad.
Yeah.
Now, part of that was the O-line as well, because we said, man, the O-line for that team.
Yeah, he got drilled on one of the sacks.
He absolutely did, man. He definitely did. But it was a good hit, though, because the rusher actually was still going for the strip. It wasn't like helmet, back of the spine type situation, but he definitely got hit pretty good. I was pissed with the tackles. I'm like, yo, y'all can't be in a Senior Bowl with these type of quarterbacks out here, and y'all turning guys free like that. That can't happen. I'm all for rushers winning. I'm all for that, but it can't look like that. That was gory at times, man. It can't look like that. But for me, man, mixed bag. I thought, like I said, confident on some of those throws down the field. You could see the duck gunslinger mentality and stuff like that, but at the same time, wasn't able to elude or to evade the defenders. The rush definitely got to him. And on that interception you talked about, his footwork. Watch his footwork on his bad throws. Watch his footwork. Typically, Bailey has really good footwork. That was one of the things I highlighted about him. It's like, yo, usually his mechanics, his footwork looks good. You watch it on tape. It's like if I show 100 clips, 90, 95 of them are going to look the same. On that one, he just don't step into it. His footwork is not what it needed to be, and he lollipops it. And that's why it floated like that and was short and it was too far inside. Because otherwise, if he steps into that, put it on the rope, it's a touchdown.
As soon as he threw it.
Absolutely should have been.
He was feeling hot after that 4th and 22 conversion.
Which was absolutely nuts too. Think of that joint, man. But that was the biggest thing with Bailey. I just thought that, number one, his situation was rough with that offensive line. He did not do himself any favors, though, in terms of being able to move and just escape. Because that's the thing. It's not even saying that you have to be a mobile quarterback. But if you can make the first rusher miss, sometimes that'll give you a chance to have one of your receivers break off a route and get open. Sometimes that's all it takes in terms of you might miss this guy, but now you can see him be open. But when you're not able to make that first initial rusher miss, even if we're not even talking jukes, because like Ben in his career, he wasn't a big, I'm going to step back or I'm reverse pivot out like Russell Wilson does. No, it was, I'm just not going to go down. You grab me, I'm just going to throw you off of me, or two of you or three of me, or four of you or five of me. Like, that's Ben.
Crazy, man.
But with Bailey, it's like, if you don't have that, you got to figure out something in your wheelhouse, a stiff arm, anything you got to develop. I think Sam Hell had a nice stiff arm one where he's trying to get out the pocket, straight arms the guy, gets rid of the ball.
Man,
like
all this positive Sam Hell talk, man.
It's crazy, right? But at the end of the day, it doesn't have to be anything otherworldly. We're not asking him to be a Malik Willis. We're not even asking him to be Kenny Pickett in terms of his athletic ability. But what we're saying is you have to find a way that if your O-line is beat, you got to make that first guy miss. You make the first guy miss, that's all we want, because now this receiver can break off, that guy can break off, and then as a defender, we have to do what? Plaster. You always hear that, where it's like, hey, drop your coverage assignment, follow this guy around. This is where whoever the guy's close to, you just got to stick with him. You don't forget those guys that opportunity, though, when you're going down off the first guy. And that's the thing with Bailey, where I was like, I just need to see him improve that part of it. Now, like I said, part of it could just simply be the quality of opponent. He's not used to that type of speed at Western Kentucky. We talked about he doesn't have a lot of experience playing at Western Kentucky because he was a transfer into there. So a lot of that made me also hesitant. And that's why we say when we're talking about younger, or not younger, but smaller school guys, it's like the quality of opponent matters, because when you put them out there with that speed, with the different level of athletes out there, how are they going to respond to that? Can they see it? Are they elusive enough? And for Bailey, I just think that the athletic ability definitely, was showing that it was not there for him.
I think he could be like a Chase Daniel.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of my comparison.
And Chase, I mean, he's done a really good job in terms of being QB2. He low-key might still be in the league being QB2.
He might be. He's probably made how much money? He's probably close to $100 million for his career, just being a backup.
Seriously, absolutely, man.
What's he getting paid? He got like one contract down in New Orleans, like $7 or $8 million a year.
I think Philly gave him a nice one, too, to be a backup out there one time. Or was that, Chase Daniels? No, you said Chase. Yeah, you said Chase. Yeah, what's up? Yeah,
I think he went up there too. I'm curious.
He's low-key been like, I think he's been Philly, Kansas City, New Orleans. I'm gonna say 60 because he was a quarterback. Was it second round or third
60
round?
million. Yeah, you're probably right.
I'm saying
60.
I'm playing 50, 60. I'm saying 60. But he's been around. He's been in the league for a minute though.
Yeah, like that could be a really good career for Bailey Zappi. That's what I see. It's Duck Hodges. I could see him being like a backup throughout his career. Why am I on Pro Football Reference? My bad. Let me go to contract real quick.
Hit a little spot rack, man. You know how we do.
I know this place is unreal.
All right, and so Cody Madore, I see you, baby. I'll let you too, man. I'm glad you're here for your first live, man. Hope you enjoy.
He is with the Chargers right now.
Totally right. That boy, hey, he gonna make that money.
Okay, career earnings. Oof, yeah, his first couple contracts. Oh, I'm way too high. Holy, I said 100 million.
I said 60.
23. No. 38. 38
Oh,
million.
okay. All right, 30. I can see 38.
Yeah, it was 23 in salary. All the bonuses and stuff add up to 38. It's almost 40. I mean, that's pretty damn good.
Dude, what? 40,
for a backup?
Yeah.
I mean, how many games has he started? Not too many. I mean, he's not banged up at all.
Mm-hmm.
What was his really bad? Yeah, it was the Saints. No, it was the Eagles. $7 million. You're right.
He got a nice deal to go to Philly, and then he went to Kansas City after. Did he go to Kansas City right after Philly? Or did he go back to New Orleans?
He got one in Chicago. That was like $5 a year.
Okay.
Back to New Orleans, $900K.
Because I know he had 2 New Orleans stints.
Yep, you're right.
Yeah.
Chiefs got a few million a year over there. So yeah, that's all you got to do.
Yeah. Hey, side note, Donald Copeland just killed me.
What'd he say?
He said in the chat, they was talking about Mason. They're comparing Mason to Joe Flacco. Could Mason be the starting quarterback? Donald just said, I wouldn't let Mason start a sentence. I was like, God, dog. Yo. It's rough out here, man. It's rough out here in these streets, baby. But good old Mason. Good old Mason.
Yeah. I mean, he looks like he's the front runner right now. We haven't made any moves. He's the front runner. Yeah. If nothing changes, it's competition between him and Haskins.
Do you think any of these quarterbacks that we've talked about, though, today could beat him out?
Oh, yeah. Could beat him out. Yeah, I think anyone could. I just don't know if I like the not having that guarantee whenever you draft a guy. It's like we're drafting a guy just to put him in competition. I don't know how I feel about that. I think any of these, I mean, probably up till Howe, Ritter, Howe, Pickett, and Willis. I could see any of them beating them out, but.
You know what? Question for you, though. Based on what we've talked about, the quarterbacks we've talked about, how do you rank them now? Based on the Senior Bowl performances.
Who do I want for the Steelers? Or just in general?
Just rank them. The 6 we talked about. How would you put them?
For the Steelers, I want Willis 1, Pickett 2. I'd maybe put Howe 3.
Before we even say, because you're saying for the Steelers, before we even get to the specifics of, for the Steelers as a team, just in general, if we're ranking them as prospects, for just big board, how would you rank them?
I'd stick with
of
Pickett
those guys.
1.
Okay.
I'd stick Pickett 1, Willis 2, 3 Howe, 4 Ritter, and then Carson Strong, Zappy. That's how I do it.
And in the chat, I know y'all getting a little delay right here, but in the chat, y'all put how y'all would rank these 6 quarterbacks as well that we've talked about today. Just not even, like I said, for the Steelers, but just in general, how do you rank these guys in terms of Malik Willis, Kenny Pickett, Desmond Ritter, Sam Howell, Bailey Zappi, and Carson Strong? How would you rank them? Put them in the chat so we can get your opinions on this conversation as well.
I borderline want to go like T1 with Pickett Willis.
Okay.
Willis more based off the prospects. Pickett as in proven the leadership you talk about. Like I feel like he's ready to go right now. Whereas Willis, man, he could be something special down the line.
Yeah.
The combo, as I mentioned, Michael Vick and like Russell Wilson. Like if he could put it all together and that's his ceiling, that could be crazy.
See, you throwing the Mike Vick. I'm still on my Marcus Vick with my man.
So is it Marcus and Russ? Is that
it's definitely saying? Marcus, bro. You ain't pull up a highlight of Marcus Vick at Tech, bro. You'll see it, bro. I'm telling you, bro.
He doesn't have that cannon like his older brother. Am I wrong on that? He wasn't the same.
Just watch it. That's all I'm saying.
Okay. I'll pull it up right now. Are you ranking them?
I am. Well, I'm gonna read through some of the chat's rankings as well before I get mine. While you're looking that up, so we can make sure we're on the same page. But so you said final note. You said was it Kenny Pickett and Malik Willis, kind of like a T1, T2 situation?
I'm gonna lean Pickett over him.
Okay, so
just as a whole, I think for the Steelers though, I'd prefer Willis over Pickett.
Third on your list in terms of just big board as a whole.
How? Sure. And then Ritter, Carson Strong, and Zappy.
Fair enough. Dude, I'm actually, man,
Wait, were we missing Corral, or are we just not bringing him in?
I didn't put him in just because I was saying for these Senior Bowl guys.
Let's not worry about
Corral.
Yeah,
because for Corral, he doesn't, we don't get the chance to give him the negative and positive of seeing him in the Senior Bowl like with these guys. Like, we got actual, game, all of them, same stadium, same defenses, same rules. We don't have that with Matt right now, and that's why I'm not including him in this conversation, just because I don't think it's fair to evaluate him versus these guys and vice versa, where we can bring up, man, Bailey Zappi struggled against the pressure. Bailey Zappi couldn't move. Carson couldn't do this. Well, we got a chance to see that because of the situation there. all the players being equal to an extent. Whereas with Matt, we just don't get that right now. So that's the only reason why with him. But the film ain't gonna lie, man. When we go back through and watch more tape on him, we're gonna get that information on him. But in terms of everyone else's order of these quarterbacks, Q, he says Kenny Pickett first. He goes Desmond Ridder second. Malik Willis third. Sam Howell fourth. Bailey Zappi fifth. Carson Strong sixth.
I can't do that.
Ooh.
I can't go Zappy.
Okay.
I can't do it.
Let me see who else. Okay. Yerd says Kenny Pickett 1, Malik Willis 2, Desmond Ridder 3.
Wow.
Sam Howell 4, Bailey Zappi 5, Carson Strong 6. Keep reading. You watch Young Vic, man.
Okay.
Why is your joint like glitchy like that too, bro?
It might be the highlights.
Oh, all right.
It's definitely the highlights.
Yeah.
I don't know why. This is his freshman year. Dude, this is all they're showing his freshman year because I type in Marcus Vick Tech highlights. They're trying to give me Michael Vick highlights. That's what people are really trying to see.
Of course,
I don't blame them.
Yeah, of course. Why wouldn't you? But you got to know the culture to know the Marcus Vick situation.
I know about Marcus Vick.
Yeah, man.
He just wasn't up to his par with his brother. That's all. I remember.
No. He would have been, but that wasn't Marcus' goal. Marcus didn't want to have a goal of, hell, I can show you that I'm better than him. He just wanted to show that, hey, I'm just as good as him. But after that, he walked away. But he got in trouble. He was doing some other stuff. It was different.
Yeah, there's a whole video that just says what happened to Marcus Vick.
Yes, because he was not focused on what he needed to be focused on. And that's a large reason why most people don't even talk about Marcus Vick like that. But it's like, no, Marcus was nice. He had talent, bro.
Okay, I'm kind of seeing the comparisons here. We got one highlight here. We got a painting. All right, I need to see a throw. They keep showing the running highlights.
Yeah,
all right, here's a throw.
There we go. I was about to say, why is your highlight looking like that? This
Dude,
is so
there's not
weird.
too many out there for Marcus Vick. That's the problem.
Hey, go on. That's
we
weird.
got some grainy. Oh, he's got a cannon.
All right.
A little underthrow. No, that was good.
Yeah.
I need to watch more Marcus Vick.
Yes.
I guess. I don't know where I'm going to be able to find
I don't
him.
know. I don't know why it's like that, though. But I'm trying to think that when he played, though, was people filming it like that?
No.
YouTube and stuff? Yeah.
You got Michael Vick, though, out there.
Absolutely, though. I like it, though. All right, but going back to the list in terms of how people rank them. Rob Clark says Kenny Pickett 1, Malik Willis 2, Desmond Ridder 3, Sam Howell 4, Carson Strong 5, Bailey Zappi 6.
Wow, I got to be sticking up for Howe out here.
Dude, Xavier, check this one out. He has a tie for first place. Kenny Pickett and Desmond Ridder. He also said Desmond Ridder first. He says Desmond Ridder / Kenny Pickett. Then at number 2, Malik Willis. At number 3, Carson Strong. At number 4, Sam Howell. And then at number 5, Bailey Zappi.
Man.
It's all right.
Bro, Barian says Pickett, Howe, Ridder, then Willis. He has Willis 4.
Okay.
$7 Roethlisberger says Malik at 1, Sam Howell at 2, Pickett 3, then Ridder at 4.
Yeah. All right.
What's your list?
I'm trying to go through one more time before I read off mine.
I got one more here. Nico B.
Okay.
Says Willis at 1, then he's got Pickett 2, Matt Corral, so he's including him. He has him over Howell, though.
Okay.
And then Ridder, Strong. So actually, mine's kind of similar to his, I guess, a little bit.
Bailey's happy to end it. Interesting. Okay. For me, I'm going.
Uh-oh. This is just general, right?
Yeah, just general. This is the hardest part for me is just who do I like more right now, Malik and Kenny? Based on what you said, Kenny, I think, is more polished. I think he's the more pro-ready guy day one. I think Malik, I love his ceiling, though.
Yep.
And that's
what I'm thinking.
That's my biggest dilemma right now. Do I want the proven product who can come in and play day one, be the guy? Or do I want the guy that could potentially come in and play day one? But at the same time, I think that his ceiling, because of the athletic ability, it could take him to a whole nother conversation. But I don't like saying ties because I feel like I'm cheating. You know, if I say, oh, it's a tie. So I shall go with. I'll go with Malik because I have a personal tie to Liberty.
All right.
My mother, she got her master's degree from Liberty. And I was in the league when this happened. I actually went down there to her ceremony to see it. And Rashad Jennings, the running back for the Giants, he actually gave her commencement speech. It was the craziest thing ever. He had fire going up because the Liberty Flames. So he was like legit flames would throw up.
Down there? He get a grad degree or something?
He went there.
Really?
Yes, he went there.
I thought this was like the newest school in the country, though.
No,
I thought they were in the past like 10 years.
No, like their football program is still new, but they have a ton of money, so they developed it up like a lot. Yeah, but Jennings was playing even before I got to JMU because I remember when we went to Liberty to play them, he had just left, and people was like, "Oh man, they used to have a running back that was nice. He's in the league. I think he got drafted and everything." I was like, "All right." But yeah, so he was giving a speech down there. So that was that whole thing. But no, man, that was my connection. So I was like, you know what? Since I went down there, my mom graduated from there, I'll go Malik first. I happen to like my mom more than I like you, Deke. I hope that doesn't offend you.
Well, I think that's fair. You got the connection with Malik Willis at Liberty, so you go with him one. I got the connection with Kenny Pickett at Pitt. I'll take him one. So maybe biases are at play a little bit here, but it's fine.
Man, we
have the same sentiments.
Are they saying that Rashad Jennings transferred from Pitt? I don't know about that.
Ooh.
I don't know. Check that. But because he definitely went to Liberty, though. He definitely transferred
We
to
had
Liberty.
Joe Flacco.
Yeah, I remember that. I remember Joe, yeah. But he definitely transferred to Pitt, though. I mean, transferred to Liberty. Excuse me.
Okay, let me check that.
Yeah, so I would say, yeah, just give it a look, man. Uh-oh.
Who you got at number 2? So you got Pickett then, obviously.
So yeah, I would have Pickett at 2 because I like you second most on the list, okay? So it's like I said, my mom first, then you be on the next
So you
list.
were thinking between him and Howe?
Yeah, I was, man, because like I said, nah, not really.
yeah, he did go to Pitt.
So, oh, wow, okay. Shout out to, who put that in the chat? Man, Matthew Kersey, man. Shout out to you for that, man. Yeah, drop the gem on us.
That's low-key a good call.
Yeah, but so for me, man, I have Malik at 1. I have Kenny Pickett at 2. I go Sam Howell 3. To me, the reason why I have him at 3 and Desmond Ridder at 4 is because of this. I thought that even though Desmond looks smoother, even though Desmond is a amazing winner, and when you talk about the amount of wins he had at the FBS, I think it's 43, he's third all time or something like that for a college career. I mean, that speaks volumes. That is big winning. But the reason why I have Sam slightly ahead of Desmond is I got to see Sam have to be gritty. I got to see Sam in a less than, positive situation where it was plenty of negativity, the strip sacks. I mean, plenty of stuff to make you just turn your head and say, you know what, man, I'm having a rough day at it. But instead, he dug deep. He did some things that, to me, I could just relate to when you having a rough one. And it's like, you know what? I just got to do it. I gotta grind through this. We can all relate to some of those moments where it's like, it might not be pretty, but we're going to grind through this thing. To me, that just, it was enough in this setting right now to slightly put him in front of Desmond. But
like Howe could have done all the stuff Desmond did, probably.
Yeah, absolutely. Because I feel like if Howe was doing a ton of play action pass, handing the ball off, I think he would have looked in a similar capacity, but his O-line was not allowing him to do those things either. And that's why for me, it's like, man, to see him have to overcome that with the pressure of an evaluation, with the pressure of you seeing these quarterbacks around you in this exact same game having success, yeah, that's not an easy thing to overcome, man. So that's why I have him at 4. That's why I have him at 3, Desmond Ridder at 4. And from there, I'll probably go, give me Carson because he's a big quarterback. Yeah. When in doubt, I like big quarterbacks, man. Big quarterback, big arm. And then Bailey Zappi at 6. Yeah. It's just, I got the Duck vibes. I ain't,
So we agree.
We
pretty much agree because we were like the whole T1
yeah.
type of stuff with
because I would have
Willis
put it as
Pickett.
a tie. I just don't like doing ties.
And then we agreed on the rest of the list.
Yeah.
Evaluations are on point right now.
So far, so good, man. So far, so good.
Corral could put the monkey wrench in it, though, if you think about it.
Well, yeah, and I fully expect him to.
I'd put him around Howe. It's either before Howe or after. Right now, I'd say after because I actually liked what I saw from Howe in the Senior Bowl. I need to watch more of Corral, I guess.
Yeah, that's my thing.
I'm not that high on him, though.
Well, just think about what you just said. Even Sam Howell, right? A week ago, we brought up Sam Howell's name. I think you laughed at one point, and I was kind of like, bro, he's Baker. Like, it's not a bad thing, but it's like, I don't want Baker if I got to go get that at 20. Like, I personally don't. But what Sam did in that game, I mean, it changed my opinion a little bit. So we're going to see, man. We are going to see. But,
I don't know why my internet or my browser just like closed on me, so I don't have any of the super chats anymore.
Oh, all right, no worries then. I think
because we got another topic then, right? We gotta break down some more positions.
Yeah, I want to talk about a couple of these linebackers, and then after that, we'll stop for today, and then we'll obviously talk O-line, some D-line and stuff like that on Wednesday's show and Friday's show as well, and talk about the receivers and stuff like that. But because otherwise we'll be in his, all night.
Yeah.
We can't do that. But I'll get over here to these supers. We are at Q. So Q says Sam Howell is a very good QB. It's just a lot of the talent at UNC was gone. Yes, and that was something that I definitely had noticed as well, Q. I'm glad that you picked it up as well, though, man, because when you lose 2 running backs, one first, both of them went second round? Because Javonte,
I don't know where Carter
went.
went.
Javonte,
Carter might have went third.
Javonte was right at the beginning of the second round. Excuse me on that. Because it was Najee, Etienne, then Javonte.
Well, they proved to be really good players.
They definitely did.
Javonte
definitely did.
Obviously, but Carter was a nice back for the Jets this year,
Yeah,
too.
absolutely, man. So the talent definitely, he felt the loss of that. So I'm with you on that, Q. All right, the next one. Let's go UW. He says, in Carson Strong's defense, he was limited in his mobility because of his knee. Yes, let's go UW. That's they said he had, I think it was from high school. I don't know what he did.
So he's still going to be dealing with that, though.
Right, because that's what they were saying. That it's a lingering thing, and that's why I was like, man, sometimes you almost wish it was just like a ACL, MCL, or something basic structurally that you can just repair and move on from it. With it lingering, I don't know what it is or how bad it could get. The one thing, because I think of like Ty Gurley, but granted, Ty Gurley was a running back, so that degenerative knee that he was dealing with, it affected him a lot more. Carson Strong isn't a mobile quarterback. He's a sit in the pocket and sling it quarterback. So I don't think it hurts him as much. But if that could be reasons why he doesn't step into some of his throws all the time, especially when the weather gets cold. Now, granted, he played in Nevada. He's played in cold weather before. I want to see that. But does the cold weather affect his knee? Can he not step into it? When I watch tape on him now, I'm going to be looking for December. I want November and December games for Carson just to see. Because now I'm curious, like, how significant is his knee thing? But that definitely was. I'm glad you brought that up as well. Let's go UW in terms of Carson's defense. I know you holding it down for that conference out there. He repping for. He said, "Yo, you ain't gonna be slandering. You ain't gonna be slandering our guys out there, man." He is, bro. He definitely is, man. All right. We also had Samurai Finn. Shout out to Samurai Finn. Love the name, by the way. He says, "Are you guys set on going with a rookie or trading for a high-profile free agent? Would you trade for an unproven guy?" Like, oh my goodness, Eason. What's Eason's first name? It's Jacob, right?
Oh, were we talking about trading for him?
No. He said, would you trade for an unproven guy like a Jacob Eason who's set behind Phillip Rivers and Carson Wentz? That's what he's asking.
I'm good on that, dude.
Okay. Now, why are you good on that though? Like, just in general.
Just what's the point? I mean, okay, we're bringing him in. He's gonna be jockeying for the second or third spot probably. He did have high upside coming out. He was supposed to be a first-round pick. It just never really panned out for him. Nah, I'm good on East. I'd rather sign someone like Mariota or Jameis Winston.
Okay.
If we're spending any money. I don't know how. I mean, Easton would probably be cheap. Obviously, be cheap. It wouldn't kill us. That's not something I'm really pushing for though. He must like Easton or something to bring that in because that's random.
Well, I was going to say, him bringing up Jacob also.
He must be high on him. That's all.
Well, if you're bringing up Jacob Eason, I feel like I have to do the mandatory Josh Rosen because he's a high pedigree guy, but never had like a long extended go at it in the NFL, right? In terms of starting quarterback. What about him? Would he interest you because of the top 10 ability? Because he was actually taken in the top 10 as well.
Who? Rosen?
In terms of Josh Rosen.
Man.
That's why I was like, you hear what I said?
You got a thing for Rosen.
No, you didn't hear what I said. I said since he brought up Jacob Eason, I said I feel like we have to do the mandatory. Whoa, what about this other guy? Yeah.
You got a thing for Rosen, huh? Because you were there. You saw. You witnessed it.
Nah, I wouldn't go that far. I definitely go that far. But for me, I would just say this though, in the sense of, what's the difference between Josh Rosen and Dwayne Haskins?
Dude, I'd have to. I shouldn't be having to think about this. I shouldn't.
We'll wait. Man, the jury taking forever today, man. Maybe we should we take a quick recess while the jury is still debating, which quarterback was the difference between Josh Rosen and Dwayne Haskins? Because we are really high on Dwayne Haskins. We talk about Dwayne Haskins, and it's like,
I would say this.
The potential because where he was drafted, the arm shift, and all this other stuff, and it's like, Well, Josh Rosen was a 10th overall pick, and he only had one season of the negative, whereas we saw with Haskins a little bit longer. I'm just wondering, what's the difference?
Here's two things. I'd say Haskins better in college.
Okay.
Haskins better arm. Haskins
more
better
talented
speed.
Team in college.
Haskins better speed too. More mobile.
I don't know about that.
I'd say more mobile.
That's a coin flip. You think so?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh man,
Definitely.
all right.
Didn't he jack up his AC? Rosen's like knees all jacked up.
Yeah, but he's not like it ain't to that extent though.
I'm saying straight line speed. Haskins is. I don't know about. I don't think Haskins really has any juke moves to him.
I don't think.
I will say that.
I don't think he has.
I don't think he has that. But straight line speed, I think he's faster. Than
Okay.
Rosen. So those
Fair
are
enough.
a few things right there.
Mm-hmm.
And he's been in the Steelers system, so familiar with what we're doing here.
So outside of a bunch of, frivolous intangibles, they're the same person. So why are we so high on Haskins and not even interested in the Rosen when Rosen he got drafted higher than Haskins? Like, no, that's all I'm saying.
All right, it's not the worst idea.
That's not the worst idea. I'm not saying that I want it. I'm not even saying that we should entertain it. I'm just simply saying that to shoot it down and laugh at a Josh Rosen when we over here trying to talk about a Dwayne Haskins. I'm like, outside of a couple inches of height and skin color and tattoos, I can't really point to too many differences, man. Both guys high pedigree. Both guys had all the intangibles. Both guys you thought were going to be the franchise guys. And right now, we both are sitting here with question marks on both of them. What are they?
And I'm the guy that's saying Haskins over Mason right now. I'm the guy that's saying Haskins should be our number one guy.
Yeah.
As we sit here today. So are you mocking my statement there?
I'm not. I'm just asking.
You just put some perspective on it, though. Oh, man.
I'm a asker of questions. That's what and when you watch your
Can
lawyers.
we say Haskins has better preseason tape? Can we say that at least?
Fair enough. If you want to go with that, we can go with
better regular season by how much? I think Haskins looks better in regular season. Now, like I said, by how much? I don't know. Haskins has some garbage time. I think Rosen's numbers were abysmal from what I remember. Haskins aren't that amazing. I'm just saying, slightly.
I ain't going with you on that. I can't go with you on that one. Oh.
What, better regular season?
Yeah, because context definitely matters. For a fact, it matters. And we're not going to sit here and act like the situation in Arizona for Rosen as a whole, organizationally and talent on the field with him. I personally think Washington, even though it was dysfunctional, both organizations were dysfunctional.
300-yard game or two, right?
He had a Terry McLaurin. My man Josh was throwing to who? Larry?
At that time?
Larry.
Was it Larry?
It was Larry. Larry was wide receiver 1.
It was just him.
Christian Kirk was young, still trying to find. He was a rookie, still trying to find his way.
Who's the RB? Was it still David Johnson? That team
yes,
was a mess,
and he was coming off of the wrist injury. He was still in a brace. And then we drafted Chase Edmonds that year.
Who started that year? Was it Bradford?
Yes.
Oh,
paid
man.
Bradford $20 million.
Oh,
started the first couple games, and after that he was so bad that it was like, yo, put Rosen out. It doesn't matter. Just put him out there.
You want to talk about contracts?
Yeah,
Holy
dude.
hell. Sam
yeah.
Bradford.
His money is filthy.
Yeah, him.
Yeah.
Mark Clayton. You loved him. Swears by him.
Yeah, it's nuts. I would never forget our first couple of practices. It was like, bro, are we for real right now? It's like, nah.
Oh, you knew right away.
What? Absolutely. You know what? Man, you watch Sam Bradford's like, bro, all right. Like, crazy smart, though. Knows everything. But you was watching him practice, like, and you watch Josh get out there. You're like, if you could put his brain on his body, I like it. Now, granted, Josh was young, but that's my only thing. That's why, for me, I'm just like, I don't see how we can just 100% be on the Haskins train and still not even just consider a Rosen. Like I said, I don't bring him in here, but that's all.
You wouldn't?
I said I would. I personally wouldn't. I just don't think you need to.
What do you think the downside is?
Well, to him coming here, mobility. You don't have the mobility. So it's like I already have a Haskins and a Mason here. That's why I'm not saying bring them here.
Yeah.
But I was just saying in the sense of it's just funny when you think of those two guys and how very similar both are career-wise. But yet one we speak of very highly because they're on the Pittsburgh Steelers roster right now. That's the truth.
I'm just trying to think how I would feel if we had Josh Rosen as our QB2 right now. I'd be feeling like we go with Mason, actually. That's how I would feel.
But I think we say that because we haven't had a chance to see Rosen in a situation like that. Like, we're seeing Haskins right now in Pittsburgh, and we're like, man, we think that Haskins in Pittsburgh system, the continuity, the talent, we should see a way better version of him. When are we going to get – we didn't get that chance with a Rosen. He went to Miami. And Miami was in the middle of their situation.
Tampa Bay, right?
Yeah,
As
so it's
squad.
where have you seen him get that type of situation? Not like I said that I'm advocating for him. I don't even talk to the dude. Like, it ain't even like that. But just in the sense of, it's just funny to me when you think of both of those guys. Their careers are pretty much identical right now. They are. A lot of expectations, man, but, yeah.
It's tough to hear.
It is what it is. I'm with you, though. I want Haskins the ball, though.
Yeah, Haskins. If we're keeping the roster as it is, I'm a Haskins guy.
Well, and Haskins was on the show, at least. We ain't got footage of Rosen, so that's what my loyalty was. If I got to choose.
That interview meant a lot.
Who's been on the show? And you already said that's your QB. You said once Ben left, you already put your stake in the ground. So, we're stuck.
I told you, if we don't address anyone, if we don't bring in anyone.
That was not what you said in the video. In the video, you simply said, once 7 leaves, you are my guy. That's what you said. Not once 7 leaves and we don't bring anybody else, or 7 leaves and you prove that you're QB1. You just said once 7 leaves, you're my guy. So 7 is gone now. You're a man of your word. I've seen how you talk about 7. You don't backtrack. You believe it. So I think it's going to be the same, man.
He won 2 Super Bowls, though. If we draft
Context
Malik Willis,
does not matter.
If we draft Malik Willis, Haskins beat out Willis, then yeah, Haskins. Just at least beat out the rookie, man. That's all.
Hey, I tell you right now, you take Malik or Kenny at 20.
You think they're the guy? There's no competition. Wow, see, that's interesting.
They're not going to beat him. I personally feel like it'll be a competition, but somehow, some way, that individual will be starting. That's just my take on it.
Politics, or you think they're just going to beat him out?
A mix of both.
Okay.
Mix of both. Yeah. That's just me. I could be wrong. But
that's how I want it. If we draft a guy, we better be playing him.
Yeah. I just feel like
I don't want a dude to be sitting around right now.
Yeah.
We're spending a first-round pick on a dude.
And that's my thing. If you're taking him at 20, or if you have to trade up potentially in that first round to get a Malik, to get a Kenny, to get any of these guys, they're gonna play.
Kenny's the one thing.
They would play.
Kenny would be the one where it's like he's got to play. I could see Malik.
Sense, though. Kenny makes sense to play. He's the most
pro
ready right now.
You could talk yourself into, we'll have Malik sit, see how Mason does. Mm-hmm. He could be more of the future. I could see that. I wouldn't be thrilled about that. But I could see Kenny, like, dude, if you draft him versus Mason, like, come on, bro.
Yeah, for me, Kenny, I like to play early. For Malik, I love Malik to be able to sit. Just learn how to read, learn how to just be a professional, learn how to get your body right and all those other stuff. So then when you do take over, whether it's late in the year or going into year 2, you're just more polished, you're more mature, you're ready to handle some of the ups and downs. You're able to not just solely be relying on, hey, I can escape this because I can run. Because at the NFL level, is more than just being fast. It's more than just being athletic. You actually got to know how to escape. You got to know how to do some of these things. And there's certain stuff that you're just going to get by just sitting back and watching at times. As crazy as that sounds for a quarterback like that, it's like, man, I just slow. Just bring him in slow.
Trey Lance, Mahomes.
Mm-hmm.
I guess those are the most recent examples of stuff like that. Am I missing anyone?
Yeah, because Rodgers is still like a while ago.
Oh, that's a long time ago.
That's what I was like. I can't think of anyone off the top of my head because most of the time when you bring in a guy, they're throwing him right on out there.
Did Trubisky play early? I don't think he did. It might have took him a while.
Who was there before him then?
I don't remember.
Because, see, I thought he did play right away.
I remember looking at his Pro Football Reference whenever we looked him up. I don't think he had that many stats for his rookie year. It was his second year he started. No, I think you're right.
I thought he played out the gate, man.
His numbers weren't.
Because then he take him to the playoffs.
It was his second year.
Second year. Okay, and that was the year he made the Pro Bowl as well. Then.
Yeah, his rookie year he wasn't that good. I think you're right. He did play a decent amount.
Right. But that was a good question, though, Samurai Finn. Shout out to you, man. Had us talking about Deke on Josh Rosen.
What was that even about?
Because he was
Eason.
we take Jacob Eason. I'm like, man, we bringing up that. Like, that just made me think of those quality players. So it was like, if I'm going to go that vein, at least let me think like higher end draft picks and stuff like that. But
yeah, because didn't Eason lose to Ellinger?
That's what I thought.
Am I wrong on that? Like, if he can't beat him out, come on.
All right. Let's go, UW. Says, how would you feel about getting a later round guy like E.J. Perry this year? Let Mason or Haskins start this year while Perry learns the system. I would have to look at more EJ Perry. For me, I don't mind that if we're talking like a Carson Strong, though. Like, I'll be interested in something like that. Bailey Zappi, I was a little bit more interested in until the Senior Bowl performance, and I was like, oh, let me slow it down a little bit, but we're not going to overreact either way. But, yeah, I'm not opposed to that. But if you're going that route, we should know free agency-wise, and it should look like the talent around him has definitely been increased. If we're going to go that route of taking a guy late in the draft at the quarterback position.
Mason or Haskins,
absolutely. Absolutely. If we're going to go that route, you boast everything else around, and then it's like, hey, if Mason or Haskins can't make this team look good and can't win with this team, well, next year you draft a guy. Next year you find that free agent quarterback.
And maybe this guy's the backup to the franchise guy or something.
Yeah.
EJ Perry, that's who he's talking about.
Yeah, absolutely, man. All right, and then the last super, before we get back to some of these, couple of these linebackers I want to talk about before we get up out. Juicebox32, he says, smash that like button. 400 plus people. I know, I mean, at the time it was like 500 plus in here, but only 197 likes right now. But he's like, show more or show some love. I'm gonna say show some more love. Absolutely, because YouTube needs it. And it's the thing, right? When we talk about just getting new people, you said it yourself, we're reading off new names, new people coming. It's like, yo, who's this person? This is dope. Well, that is happening because not us, y'all. It's the tandem. You feel me? We provide the content, but y'all let YouTube know that y'all like the content when y'all like the videos, when y'all interact with the videos, when y'all comment, when you're subscribed, and you got your notification bell on, all right? So it's a group project here, okay, ladies and gentlemen? It's a group project. Y'all rocking with us. We rocking with y'all. We seeing the numbers. The 30K subscribers, man. Giveaway is coming
30K.
very, very soon, man. Big time salute to all of y'all. But like I said, it's a group effort, baby. It's a group effort. So we're going to take this as big as y'all make it, all right? So y'all keep liking. Y'all keep tuning in. All righty. So did have a couple linebackers we want to talk about. 3 guys in particular just for today. And then, like I said, after that, we'll save some of these other prospects for Wednesday and Friday show as well, just to be respectful of everybody's time. Otherwise, being here, like I said, 20-hour show. We don't need that.
Yeah.
Not in the offseason. But the first one is let's go UW's boy, Chad Muma. Yes. Dang, I guess I should ask you want to go first. I was excited because it was defense.
No, I got nothing on any of these guys.
Okay, great.
Well, here's what happened. You texted me and said we're adding linebackers from the Senior Bowl.
I did.
Like if you wanted to go back and I'm like, I'm not going back to watch the Senior Bowl. Because what I tried to do was find their highlights.
Mm-hmm.
These YouTube channels aren't that niche. They aren't that in-depth. If you're going to do Senior Bowl, they're going to show the quarterbacks. Every play from the quarterbacks. Outside of that, you're probably going to get some other offensive guys. I couldn't find inside linebacker. So are you telling me
there's
highlights.
a market for like Senior Bowl highlights?
No, I'm telling you, dude.
Like,
I was even seeing some stuff that's starting to pop up, and I really like this.
Okay.
If someone wants to start running accounts like this, I think they could get popular. Now, I don't know how you could monetize it, but I see some people do really well with just strictly highlight channels. Highlight heaven. I don't know how you do it, but
because like you said, monetizing, that's
the market.
Issue,
no,
bro.
The market. This is the market. You either get college guys, every snap, every play from each individual game. Like Sam Howell. I would like to see every throw from his week 1 game, every throw from week 2, every throw week 3.
If they did it for every game, because right now you can find a handful of games. Like the Notre Dame game is up there, every throw, every run. Malik Willis saying, like, you're right. It's a market for that.
There is. And if you're you could do every week for all these top guys, because I'm not watching every damn Sam Howell game. I'm not watching
Well, and it's the difference between watching
Desmond
a whole
Ridder
game versus watching just the runs and pass plays for that particular player. It's way less time.
Minutes,
it's cleaner.
That's it. That's all I need to see. Exactly.
Absolutely, man.
So you could do that for college. You could even do that for pros, too.
Yeah, no, you can.
I saw some stuff from Zach Wilson popping up on my suggestions. Like someone was doing every throw from his week 15 game or something like that. That market's out there. You could even, like, for inside linebackers.
No, seriously, dude.
Every tackle from Chad Muma.
Yeah.
Week 1, or if you even want to put even want to put it all into one, every tackle from Chad Muma from this season.
You definitely could. See, I would. I just ain't figured out how to monetize that just yet. That's a lot of time. You talk about every time, bro. You cut on that tape and you cutting out every play. That's like with the.
I did that last year for Le'Veon.
I think about like when I was in like college and in the pros, like you have like those like the grunt guys of the organization that do that. Like, yo, I need every run, every pass play for this guy. And you're like, are you for real? For the next 2 seasons, actually, this season and last season, they're like, oh, all right, this is about to suck. I'm like, yes, it is, but I need it. So, yeah, for those people that want to do that, man, big time shout out to them, man. Heck,
I don't know what the market is. I don't know how you make money. Highlight Heaven's got a little bit of a brand, so maybe that's what you make it a brand, and then you can start selling some merch or something. I don't know.
Because like you said,
but then you
all
need
the
approval.
Get copywritten.
Yeah, I was gonna
that's
say
the thing.
For NFL, you definitely need approvals.
Even the college tapes, like ACC Network film, SEC Network, big. Yeah, absolutely, bro. They copyright all that. Yeah, so that's why I was like, it could be up there, but you can't really monetize it.
No, I just watched some of their highlights and looked at some of their scouting reports online. So that's about it. So this one's mainly on you.
All right. So with that being said, man, Chad Muma, definitely was excited about him. I thought the first thing that jumped off the tape, like we talked about earlier in the year when I talked about the one game that I watched from him, man, I just think he excels in coverage. He is so rangy. You watch him, man.
Yeah, he does have good size.
Dude, he has good size, but I just love how he's able to not just do zone drops. He can be a middle runner in Tampa too. He can match up in terms of some of these running backs. I even like with some of these tight ends, not the elite guys, but that next tier class, the guys that are not named Travis Kelce, George Kittle, etc., that the non-freaks, I think he matches up with all of those guys. The thing that I like though, in terms of when you're talking about him, is he understands coverage. He understands leverage. He understands, I don't know necessarily how in-depth are route concepts, because I didn't see a ton of like man-to-man in this game because they can only play 3 coverages, cover 1, cover 2, cover 3. So the more I go back and watch Chad in terms of him at Wyoming, I'll be able to see a lot more of that. But I thought that, man, the range showed up in a big way. Coverage-wise, he almost had a pick 6 on Bailey Zappi at the end of the game. He had to sub back in. He jumps. It barely goes over his arms, but that should have been a pick 6, you know what I mean, in terms of just his break, his read. I also like the toughness and effort. On the play that we were talking about earlier with Let's Go UW, where Malik scrambles, cuts across the field and runs. Chad, first off, great in terms of he's the beacon of communication. You watch him going into every snap, he's the one doing all the talking. I like that because that means he's the leader of the defense. If you draft him, he's your green dot guy. We know that has come into question at times in Pittsburgh in the recent history, right? Our green dot situation, who's the vocal leader? Who's the guy? We don't have it right now, right? Or at least we need to.
Man, that'd be pretty bad. We draft this guy and then he's the green dot guy over Bush.
All I'm saying is,
that'd be pretty bad.
All I'm saying is, as a linebacker, I'm watching him, the communication. He's starting the checks. I'm watching him in this Senior Bowl. He's the guy when it's 3rd and 15, 3rd and 20. You know what he's telling the guys? Back up. Why do I like that? Situational awareness. If it's 3rd and 20 and you know in this particular setting that, hey, a normal minute left in the first quarter is just end of the first quarter. In that setting, it's the end of the half. So what plays do you have to account for? What do you guard against? He's out there telling the guys back up, and he's the one that drops to the left hook, his left, the quarterback's offense right. He drops into the left hook, probably 20 yards downfield, like where he's located from the line of scrimmage. Then you watch him in terms of his burst to get out there for the coverage, takes away that route. Then as Malik is scrambling across the field, he has a whole nother gear. He's passing defenders and offensive players to go find Malik and actually walk Malik down. I was a little bit surprised. I said, if it was straight line, Chad, I don't think catches Malik. But you watch Malik go here and then go back across and then get back vertical. Chad was definitely fast enough to burst all the way across the field, eat up that space, and make the tackle. To me, I love that because when we talked about our linebackers this year, one of the things that I criticized Devin Bush about in particular was his effort. I said, man, I don't want to hear that you want to make a play and I cut the tape on and you do everything that's counterproductive to it, right? Whether it's technique, whether it's effort, whether you're not even running after the ball. Like, I don't want to cut on the tape and I see you jogging around the pile. With Chad, that play right there showed, number one, that you don't have to worry about that, but not just that play. Every single play, you know what else I noticed? He finishes in the frame. What does that mean? When we're watching tape, the camera zooms in, right? Every time at the end of the play, it's going to zoom in on the tackle, whoever's around, jump on pile guys, right? When you stop that tape and you look, who's in the frame?
In the frame, guy.
Who's in the frame? Because if you're in the frame, that tells me you're doing what? You're running to the ball. If you're not in the frame, you ain't run to the ball. It's that simple. So if you're in the frame every single time, that's telling me more times than not, you're running to the ball. You're finishing right there. So if this guy misses the tackle, if I'm in the frame, what does that mean? I'm going to make the tackle. But this year we talked about, right, with the Steelers, you have a guy miss a tackle, and it's like, man, where's the next guy at? We need more. Get over there.
Muma would be in competition with Cam Hayward to make that last tackle, maybe, like, down the field.
Instead of it being Cam Hayward, that's a difference. It shouldn't be Cam Hayward. It should be your LBs, right? Because that's That's what you're supposed to do.
That's a good point. We haven't seen too much of Bush or Schobert finish plays. There's a lot of Minka and Cam.
Okay. So when I cut on the tape and I see Chad, and that continues to pop up on tape, you notice how I got excited because it's like, man, we've been missing that. We need that. Watching that, I'm not even going to say that name because it's going to put people in a different perspective. I don't want it to be like that. But just think of the ranginess of Shea in terms of how he was always in the frame. Don't think of Shea in terms of who he was as a player. Just the ranginess. We would always see him, around the ball.
Yeah.
Every single time he was going to be around that rock. Chad is in that capacity. No, not in the athletic vein as Shea, but just he's going to get to that ball. Chad does that.
He has other attributes that Shazier doesn't have, though, in terms of the height and
absolutely.
And
I think that his size,
length.
dude. I like his size and length a lot. But you know what else I like about him, man? He is so daggone fundamentally sound. I literally wrote this out verbatim. Shuffling. He shuffles. We talked about when I said with Bush and Show, but I said at times it's like, man, they lose a little bit of the technique. More so Devin. It was like, yo, he doesn't trust it all the way, or he's not seeing it the right way. Chad shuffles. He stays in the shuffle. He's patient in that shuffle. I love that about him. I like the fact that he stays square also. And why is it important to stay square while you're shuffling? Why is it important to be patient while you're shuffling? It always has you in position to either take on a block or to make a tackle. When you're not shuffling and that lineman comes up on you, you know what you're doing? You're hoping that your feet aren't crossed over. But if your feet are crossed over, now you're doing this and you're hoping that you're a big puncher. Devin is an undersized guy. Shower's an undersized guy. In terms of they're not big thumping linebackers. So your fundamentals and technique has to be absolutely perfect to defeat these bigger blockers that come up on you. With his fundamentals, in terms of Chad, it always puts him in position to be there. So when you see some of these linemen come up on him, I don't care about your D-line if they're doing good or not when you operate with fundamentals, because you're going to hat and hands this D-line, this old lineman like he did on tape. Bam, bam, extend, shock and lock, come off the block and make a tackle. It ain't that hard. And Chad did that multiple times. Like I said, they weren't even highlight plays. It was just scrum plays in the middle. I'm like, that D lineman ain't doing anything special here. But what Chad did right here was put this guy right here, hat and hands him, press him back, and go make the tackle. That's what you want. And
that's
you telling me I got you tell me I got a rangy.
Barely saw this year.
You tell me I got a rangy guy that can do that as well. Man, I'm over here like, bro, if he lasts in the second round, man.
Second, you think he's skyrocketing?
I think he's gonna. Dude, I think he's a top 50 pick, bro.
Third, fourth.
I honestly think he's a top 50 pick, bro. Top 50.
So if we got him in the third, it's a steal.
To me, yes. I think the more people see him, because once again, very similar to the Malik Willis situation, not a lot of people were watching Wyoming tape. Let's be real about it. They weren't. But no different than Zaven Collins in terms of how Zaven, right? The more people started to hear about Zaven, the more people started to watch Zaven, he skyrocketed up.
Yeah, he went from second to, what was he, 16, I think, to the Cardinals. Yeah.
Absolutely. So the more people watch Chad, bro, the more he's going to impress. And don't let him go out here and run a 4.5. 4.4, don't let him do nothing like that. I think he'll test in that 4.5, 4.6 range.
Really? I think they said expected at 4.7 or 4.8.
You think 4.7? I think
no, that's just what I'm reading. They said expected 40s.
I'm thinking 4.5, 4.6. I think 4.5.
Oh, if he does that, he'll skyrocket.
4.5 is blazing fast for him, but I can see him in that 4.57, 4.65 range. And honestly, man, when you throw that straight line speed with his ability to just understand coverage, rangy and stuff like that, and just like I said, because Devin is a fast guy, but Devin doesn't necessarily understand how to cover guys. You know what I mean? And it's different. Shazier struggled with that early on as well. Just because you're fast, you have to understand leverage. You have to understand where your help is, what your coverage responsibility is. And sometimes you want guys to be beating you. Some guys you want that receiver to be leading you. But it's certain things that you just have to grow and understand and learn. And for Devin, he's still growing and learning those things. But with Chad, when I watch him, it's like, man, he just seems a little bit, he's more advanced there. It's more natural there, man.
Pat Fryermuth, Eric Ebron scenario.
I'm not going there. I'm not doing that. Because I do still feel like Devin is still
Could they be a tandem?
Yeah, and that's the thing. I'm not looking at it as, oh, you bring in Chad and you cut Devin. I'm not saying that. But what I am saying is I would not be opposed to Chad coming in here and now you like, hey, competition, you can compete for it, or you go ahead and, because I ain't gonna lie, I do think Chad, if Chad is here, Chad's gonna start. He's gonna be one of the starting two. I don't know who the other guy opposite him would be, but he is different than Spillane. He is different than Schobert. He's different than Bush. He's different than Buddy Johnson. He's different than Marcus Allen. He's different than Ulysses Gilbert III. Like, That's just my opinion on him. Like,
How
I
much
like him a
different
lot,
you
though,
think
dude.
he's than Schober? Because they're actually bringing him up as a comparison to Muma.
So for me, man, I think that he's just more rangy right now. Schober's still a good player. Obviously, Schober didn't play here well. But when you cut tape on a Schober in Cleveland, Schober's a good player. Like, that's the thing with, like I said, I just thought for him, man, you had a bad time to have a bad season or a bad time to have a regular season. You know, with the expectations, the contract, the trade, everything like that, we expected a lot more. We expected it to look like Cleveland. We expected it to look like why you got paid to go to Jacksonville. But instead, it was more so just regular. So with Chad, if that's like, to me, I think Chad is closer to that as a floor, honestly. Like, I'm gonna watch more of him, but
it almost sounds like he's better than Schobert now.
I personally like him more than Schober, just right now, just based off of what I've seen. But at the same time, I'm not going to discredit Schober because Schober has done this in the NFL for multiple seasons. So that's why I wouldn't just, throw Chad in there over him day one right now. He would obviously have to prove it, but it wouldn't take long for
might
me.
not even
That's
be
my
back,
thing.
though.
I honestly don't think he will with the money situation. And it
No,
doesn't,
no way.
why? You don't need to. And that's the other thing. It's like, okay, if you don't need to and you let him leave, if you bring in Chad, I don't think you're hurt. In fact, it might be an upgrade. That's all I'm saying. And I just think that Chad can develop a lot more also, because if Chad is closer to Schober right now as, coming out in terms of what he's able to do.
You think that's a decent comparison?
I don't hate it. Because for a while, like I said, Schober is rangy. Schober gets interception. Schober can run the middle hole in Tampa too. So it's like, I see the similarities. I just think personally, I think Chad is a little bit more, he just looks a little bit more comfortable to me running it and stuff like that. I want to see Chad a lot more in the man-to-man stuff. And that's why I was like, I'm going to go back and watch more of his Wyoming
maybe a little
game
more athletic
tapes.
too.
Yeah, because that could also change. Because like with Zaven I thought was good in coverage, but not in man coverage. I thought he was really good zone dropping, and he's had a natural read and natural feel for it. With Chad, though, I think Chad has the potential to be a man-to-man guy as well, just based on how he moved in the Senior Bowl and stuff like that. So it's like, if you get a guy that can be a man-to-man and a zone guy, why is that important? Well, who's our DC here? We know we're going to run some Tampa 2. You're going to have that middle running because we know Coach Tomlin like Tampa 2s, the cover 2 stuff. That's what he runs. Think Derek Brooks, okay? He going to want that. But he also likes to match routes. Our cover 4 isn't like a traditional zone cover 4. Our cover 4 is a man cover 4. We broke that down. I got some more videos coming too as well. Don't worry. But that's what we do. So it's like, I need to know, can you match up with running backs? Can you match up with tight ends? Because we're going to ask you to do that if we bring you here. And that's the part where I think he can, based on what I saw. But I want to I want to watch more of it before I'm like, yes, he could definitely do that. But I'm very high on him, though, man.
Cool.
Very high on him.
2 other guys, right?
Yes, indeed, man.
Yeah, that's good because inside linebacker, it is definitely going to be one of our needs, as much as we thought it wasn't going to be at this point.
Yeah.
And if we can get a dude in the 2nd or 3rd round, that'd be nice, because I'd still like to address O-line, any other, quarterback, whoever it is in the first round. I don't necessarily want to spend a first-round pick on an inside linebacker.
No, I get that. And you notice, as we're going to continue to break down our players and going position by position and stuff like that, I'm doing it in kind of like what we think drafting-wise. Like, when we talk about our first-round quarters, like, these are the quarters that we think we're going to be in play for, but we think this is one of our most important needs, this offseason. Well, linebacker, I think, is still in play for that second biggest need. And that's why when I look at a guy like Chad, I'm like, Chad can be in that conversation a little bit. Some of these other guys be in the conversation. Now, I know, I'll pull your name up in a little bit, but I have been getting people ask about Nakobe Dean, the linebacker from Georgia. I'll break him down and stuff like that. For me personally, I don't think we have a chance of getting him. I think he's going to be one of those top 10, top 15 guys, just based on what I've already seen from him before I even break him down even further. I just think that he's a top tier dude. He's athletic as heck, rangy, nastiness, physical. He checks a lot of boxes. That's all. But like I said, we'll get to him, but it's not today because we're doing these Senior Bowl dudes right here. But the other 2 guys, the first one, DeMarco Jackson, cat from App State, man. I was liking him. Now,
what would you like about him? Because everything I'm looking up, he kind of seems. You want to talk about Muma and the other dude from Cincinnati, right? He seems
Darian Beavers.
He seems the most middle of the pack out of the 2, right?
Yep. He's not
steady.
Yeah, he's not the crazy coverage. He's not the big thumper in terms of like how Darian is. But with DeMarco, I thought that for him, man, I thought that he flashed some ranginess in his coverage. Not as rangy as Chad, but I thought that he definitely I definitely thought that he showed ability to cover. He had a nice play. Now, granted, it was a completion, and it wasn't on him, but it was a play action pass where he reads run, he steps up, and then from there he looks up the crosser. It's simple, but it's one of the key fundamental things in terms of your inside linebackers versus play action pass. Don't get sucked up and then just say, all right, I'm sucked up and stop. No, get your tail downfield because you're going to pick up one of these late crossers, and all it takes is that quarterback holding the ball and deciding to throw back late across the field, i.e. like the Patrick Mahomes type situations. When you burst out of that thing on play action, that's how you get to those type of plays. Or in that case where it was a completion, you make the tackle. But either way, it's productivity. So I did like that about him. The other thing that I thought he was really good against the run. Holy cow. I mean, his ability in terms of just in between the tackles, shuffling downhill. And for me, I thought I liked him a little bit more in terms of just how physical he was against the run. I thought Chad was more fundamentally sound and more effective against the run. But just in terms of that demeanor, that no nonsense, I'm going to put my helmet on your helmet and we're going to see who goes to sleep first. DeMarco definitely was giving me some of that, and I like that.
Some Vince Williams type of stuff.
I'm a sucker for that type of stuff right there. I'm a sucker for those dudes, game. Man. Yeah, and DeMarco, he definitely was giving me those vibes, though, in the sense of, when you watch him come downhill, even when it didn't look perfect, he wasn't going to shy away from contact. It wasn't a ton of on watch him getting pushed back. Now, he had, I think it was like one rep. No, it actually wasn't on him. Now that I think about it, that wasn't because I was Connor Haywood. Connor Haywood, he had a little play. I was like, oh, all right, is that on? Oh, it was on him. All right, we're good. Yeah, but like I said, in terms of his ability against the run, I like that, and I think he's a fundamental tackler. You watch the Senior Bowl tape as well, man. Like he wraps up, and that's another thing that we said at times. Even though it kills me that I'm over here talking about fundamentals, but it's not something that you could take for granted. And obviously we've seen that with even the Steelers as a whole, not even in terms of our inside linebackers, our tackling as a whole this year was bad. We missed a lot of tackles.
It's atrocious.
Yeah. And that's something that goes back to your fundamentals. We always say, man, it's not always about doing extraordinary things. It's like, no, do the ordinary things extraordinary. Just if you can do the basic principles of shuffle, stay square, tackle, head across the bow, wrap up, drive your legs. If you do that every single time to the best of your ability, bro, we can win with that. But I don't need, a kill shot right here that's 50-50. You might make it, you might miss it. I don't need you, all right, I'm going to punch at the ball this time. I'm going to wrap up next time. Because when you don't get the punch, well, now they're running still gaining yardage. So it's like all of those things. It's like, man, just get back to the fundamentals. The fundamentals will keep you. Remember what I say, the fundamentals keep your floor at a certain level? Exact same concept, man. But I definitely like that about him.
Where do you see him? You think he's legitimate, probably third, fourth?
I think he's a mid-round guy, yes.
Okay.
And that's why it's like he's another guy. I'm like, it can make sense that, hey, say you don't get a moment at the beginning. All right, in the second round, that's cool. All right, third, fourth round, though, if a guy like DeMarco is there.
Have him compete with like Buddy Johnson or something.
Yeah, because I think he has more range than Buddy, but Buddy has the better size. So it's like you can see a little contrast. It's different, but it's also a true linebacker. It's not Marcus Allen. It's not, in the sense of a converted guy. Even Miles Killebrew, for example, he was in the linebacker room. It's like, man, give me a guy that actually plays linebacker, a guy that we're not going to have to worry about the physical nature of it. He can still be good. Now, the one thing that I would say with him that I want to see him improve upon are his angles to the ball. We said with Chad takes good angles to the ball every time. He's always going to finish in that frame. DeMarco plays with great effort. I love that about him, but just little subtle better angle right here. The one play with Desmond Ridder was the prime example for me. He's like I said, it's not a real blitz, but he gets in a scenario where Desmond is rolling out and he's already outside of him, but instead of him going to where he is going to be, he goes to where he's currently at. Think of it for the hunters out there. They would know this. You can't shoot where you see the bird or wherever that target is. You got to lead him a little bit. Right. And for him, he just has to understand. It's a small coaching point in terms of, hey, don't go to the hash where he's at on the hash. Man, give yourself about 3 yards, 4 yards, because you're faster. You can always get there and come back. What you can't do is go there and get him. And that was what happened on that play. So when I think of DeMarco, it's just, all right, we can coach up your angles and stuff like that. And that'll help you not just when you're chasing out the quarterbacks, but even going after these running backs as well. But as a whole, I think that, man, he's definitely, I like him. But like I said, I think he's more of a mid-round prospect.
This next dude might be a stud.
This one is interesting for me, man. Oh, yes.
I've seen some of his highlights.
Yeah,
I didn't see what he did in
bro.
the Senior Bowl, so you have to let me know on that, or at least recollect anything. Mm-hmm. Bro, converted safety, right?
Yeah.
Physical.
Mm-hmm.
This could be right up our alley. we keep talking about these hybrid safeties.
Mm-hmm.
Where's this dude going, though? Because part of me is like,
Yeah.
from what I've seen, is this too good to be true? Like, if we're talking about him in later rounds or mid rounds, what am I missing?
So for me, the thing with Darian Beavers, Cincinnati linebacker, I was surprised at how thick he was, bro. Like, he's a bigger body dude, man. I personally feel like he's more of a zone guy than a man guy. And when you talk about too good to be true, that's part of the things with him. So think about it like this. This is going to sound weird.
Is this a comp?
No. So check it out. He is really good in coverage.
Yeah.
But I do feel like he overachieves. Think of it like this. In zone coverage, I think he would excel. I think he drop back and do any zone you want. He's going to read the quarterback, make great breaks on the ball. He'll be able to, disrupt some routes underneath and stuff like that. In man-to-man coverage, though, the speed in his hips, I just feel like his hips are a little too tight for some of the, like, versus the elite or the higher-end athletic running backs and tight ends, right?
Yeah.
Because we're not talking about can you guard Zach Gentry or can you guard Kevin Radar, but, like, could you guard a Pat Freiermuth? Could you guard potentially a Travis Kelce? Like, those are some of the questions. I don't think that he's capable of that right now, but like I said, he's productive in coverage because he's a smart guy.
Vince.
And that's the thing with him. He is smart. So even though he's not the most, like, he's not a crazy blazer, I think he'll probably still test well. But when I watch him, I don't think that he moves like a former safety. I think like former safety is cool, but when I watch the tape, I'm like, I don't think you're a former safety. He's just like a bigger athletic linebacker to me personally. But with him, though, in terms of his strengths and weaknesses, him understanding who he is, him understanding that, yes, I'm not as fast as you, but I understand I got hope out here. I know how to use this leverage to get here. He excels that way. Very similar to when I broke down Buddy Johnson's tape a year ago and was like, yo, he's not fast, but he wins in coverage. I don't know why, but he takes good angles to the ball.
I remember looking at his stuff.
And it was like that with Darian. I'm like, I don't feel like in a foot race he wins every time. I think he gets beat a lot of the times if it's a foot race, but he takes such good angles that it makes up for those type of things based on what I saw from him in that Senior Bowl and stuff like that. So that's why for me, I'm like, I started thinking of him more so as a poor man's Zaven Collins because it was like
that's good.
Big size, big athlete, not crazy, like jump off the chart speed, but for his size, it's like, yo, he's a good athlete. But with Zaven, I don't want Zaven matched up man to man versus these guys. But I like Zaven in any zone coverage. I like Zaven versus the run. You know what I mean? Things like that. So for Darian, I think of him that same way. I think that with his size, it's a huge plus for him because we don't have a big linebacker like him. He's a big dude, man. But I definitely like that about him. But for me, like I said, the best part about him is the fact that he knows his strengths and weaknesses.
What's funny is, on one of these scouting reports, actually, that's the exact comparison they use. They say Zaven Collins. I'm serious.
Let's get it there, man.
Yeah, so 100% on point. I'm just wondering what round. That's what I'm trying to find out right here, where they got him projected. Is it third and fourth, you think, too, with him?
Put it like this. Without me even looking to see where people are projecting him, I would say anywhere between third and fifth just because the former safety background, the coverage knowledge is intriguing. But athletically, you are going to have some questions in terms of, can he play in space?
I don't think anyone's questioning his run stopping ability.
That's the part. That's what I said. I think like
that's something that can help us.
That would be a big asset. And like I said, his size alone helps him in that vein. But for me, I just wonder, could he do some of the man to man stuff that we would ask him to do? Because we match up. We talk about we match up everything here. So I think Chad is probably the most ideal. I think DeMarco is probably second in terms of what he could do. And then I had Darian as like that last guy based on the Senior Bowl. Not all the linebacker prospects, not all of them, just the Senior Bowl guys right now. All right. That's where we're at with that, man. But
yeah, I'm seeing like third. Mm-hmm. Someone used Zach Cunningham as a comparison.
See, for me, I think Zach is more rangy. I think Zach is way faster, more side to side and stuff like that. But at the same time, I don't think Zach. I gotta watch more Zach coverage stuff like that. But I just think Zach plays faster than Darian. But I also don't think Zach is as big as Darian either.
Right.
It's like you look at Zach's frame, like Zach is like linebacker up top, almost wide receiver borderline at the bottom. Like he's thin.
Well, I saw him rocking a hoodie. We need one of those guys on the roster, I think.
We need a hoodie guy?
Yeah, we don't
have
one.
a hoodie guy. We definitely don't. The hoodie
I think
is
we
fire,
need one.
bro.
That'd be good.
The hoodie is definitely a clean look.
Late round pick. Yeah. We need one of the hoodie guys.
The hoodie is clean. See, I thought Deontay would be the hoodie guy for us, man.
That's true.
He looks like a hoodie guy to me.
That's true. That's a good point. Yeah, so all those guys, I just like the thought of drafting an inside linebacker at some point. Maybe.
Yeah.
I'm not a biggest fan of the first round. Maybe that Georgia guy that you're talking about. Like, would you be about him? Because even last year, we were like, if Parsons fell to us, even though we're not really talking inside linebacker, you just take him.
No, absolutely.
You think that'd be the case with him?
Dean, absolutely.
Okay.
But he'll be in the Parsons type conversations. Yeah. I just don't think that we're gonna do what it takes to get a guy like that personally. That's just off my initial just watching, and not even me breaking him down like that. Just me being a fan, watching football, watching Georgia, and it's like, yeah, bro, that dude can ball. He's different. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm all for inside linebacker at some point. We need some type of competition, some type of potential dude that we could hang our hat on for the next 5 years.
Dang, going. All right.
What? Someone bringing up something else?
I was looking at some comps. I don't know if Knight Rider was talking about. I'm trying to see because I was seeing some other LB talk, some Ray Lewis stuff, but no, it looked like he was saying that Tremaine Edmonds, that Darian Beavers kind of reminds him of him size wise, not necessarily like in terms of style of play, but that bigger body. I mean, Tremaine was 6'4" in that interior. Like he looks like a freak when you watch him at times.
What's Beavers? He's like 6'2", 6'3",
I think
right?
it was 6'3". Yeah.
I'll check real quick. But yeah, I mean, I like the thought of him playing safety. I know you brought up the man coverage deficiencies potentially, but having just an athletic guy.
The hip part. That's the thing. Like if he's your third safety or he becomes your box safety, I think he could be a box safety. But for me, Edmonds blows him out the water in terms of athletic ability, and that's my thing. I'm like, when I think of my box safety, Edmonds is the box safety.
Oh, they got Beavers at 6'4", actually.
I say he looked big on tape, bro. I'm not gonna lie to you. I thought he looks slightly.
He doesn't look as lanky though. You're right.
Yeah, like Chad looks long, long and lean. Darian just looked like a big body out there. So I was like, bro, when you say a former safety, I'm like, man, the former safety for who? Like, God, dog, Taylor Mays, like, God damn.
Yeah.
Seriously, man.
Taylor Mays.
That's what I'm like, yo, you said safety. I'm like, yo, he had to be a Taylor Mays safety. Like, that boy was a linebacker back then.
That's a good way to put it. Yeah.
Because even I think of Cam Chancellor, he was another big body guy that they questioned. Could he play safety? Could he play linebacker potentially? But for him, box safety, he could get it done. And then he also leaned out. That was Cam's answer to it because Cam's hips weren't the best. He didn't have the crazy straight line speed. He was still a 4.5, 4.6 guy, but he wasn't this crazy test out the gym type of guy. But he was like, yo, I'm going to lean up. I'm going to use my smarts, and I'm going to have a great career out of this thing. So with Darian, if you take that approach, that's the alternative. It's like, yo, you can go the other way. Lean up, drop another 10. That helps you. That'll help them hips out. It helped me out. I started dropping note. I'm like, look, man, I know I struggle here and here. We're going to drop this. We're going to beef that up. We're going to get super smart here. Hey, as long as you, and what did I say when his strengths were? I said he understands his strengths and weaknesses. As long as you understand what you're good at and what you're not good at, you can make a plan to make that thing successful, baby. So with Darren, I think, I hope he'll have the same type of situation, man.
When we go over these super chats then?
Hey, hold on. Before we go, though, Stoogie McClain, you killing me, man. He said, just imagine the name combo if we have Darian and Devin as our linebacker combo. Think last names. I was like, oh, yeah, I got it. I'm with it. That's it. Yeah.
I guess we got to draft them now.
Oh, Lord. You had your little 69 Dawson jersey on, huh? You ain't nothing, bro. Hey, yo, let's go.
And he'll be rocking a hoodie.
He would. He would have the hoodie on. He'd be like, oh, it's slightly covered up. And Bush. Yeah. All righty.
That means Bush got to ball out.
Yeah. Otherwise, he would get trimmed. You can gonna cut him, get him up out of here. That's what you're telling us. I'm gonna leave it alone. I'm not getting in trouble today. All right. But that was the ones that we want to talk about today, like I said, because otherwise we're going to have a whole another 3 hours of show. So I'll break down some more prospects from the game and from what people have been sending me through that email address, right? moatsiswinners@gmail.com. You keep sending the names in there. I will keep watching tape on them and have nice breakdowns for them. When I'm able to find clean film, we'll even have some player breakdown tape for you as well.
Nice.
Still working on that though right now, because as you heard what Deke said, and as I've already said, that is not an easy thing to find at times.
It's not.
Legally also. That's the other part, legally. Got that in there.
I got Anton Patterson.
I was going to say, I think he's the first. No, I got a couple ahead. Okay. All right. First off, Anton. Oh, I think. Okay. So Anton Patterson first came in, showed a little love. Salute you for that. We definitely appreciate you. Then he also has a comment down, so we'll get to that in a second. Next one was Let's Go UW.
I got him.
Oh, you do? Oh, rock out there, man. Let's rock.
Saying his floor is Vince Williams. I don't know who he's talking about. Probably the middle guy.
That's what I'm thinking. DeMarco Jackson. He said his. I thought he said ceiling. Yeah, floor. Yeah, absolutely. Because worst case scenario, he'd just be a thumper. But best case, I think he could. I ain't gonna go there. Because I was
Ray Lewis.
No.
Who brought up Ray Lewis comparison?
Somebody brought him up. I don't know for which guy, but
we get Ray Lewis in the third round.
I wish. But I was thinking of in the sense of like with Devin Bush, right? Small but thicker. But it's still fast enough side to side. Devin, that's the thing with Devin. It's frustrating because Devin can still be a good player. And it's like, I could see a scenario where DeMarco, your ceiling is Devin Bush. Like when Devin, think Devin rookie year. Before Devin went through this whole change and transformation and all this other stuff. Like,
I'm just not caring.
Yeah, it was like, man, at times Devin flat, at times Devin looked good. And you're like, bro, okay, I can see why you took him, and why, hey, if you get him in the system and develop him, he could be a really good player. DeMarco, I could easily see in that same capacity. I don't know if he's going to test as fast as Devin, but body-wise, they're pretty much the same. When you watch him on tape, it's like, y'all move pretty similar as well. But I would like I said, I need to see more of DeMarco in terms of some of his coverage, man-to-man stuff, just on a bigger scale, because in a game like the Senior Bowl, it's condensed. Yeah.
We got Ox Rays Ox.
Ox
in the upper room.
Rays Ox. Shout out to your name, Ox Rays Ox. But more importantly, Ox Rays Ox. Welcome to the upper room. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed, baby.
Craig Ellis. I just want to shout you both out. Thanks for the great videos. Also, I don't want us to draft a QB. Bring in a veteran and fix other areas.
Oh, well, first off, man, we salute you back, man. We appreciate that.
That's another frame of mind that I like. Sign Mariota or Jameis. Don't worry about QB the draft. I'm fine with that too.
See, for me, I'm like, if you go veteran quarterback, still draft me a quarterback. Why not? I'm all for it, man. Like, the higher end, the veteran quarterback, the less urgency I feel in terms of taking a guy in round 1 or round 2.
Oh, yeah.
But if you bring in the mid-tier class of free agent quarterbacks, when you talk about your Mariotas and stuff like that, or even a Minshew, I don't put Jameis and Carr in that category because we both said, I think they both have proven enough that they should come in and be the guys. But with the next tier down, I'm still for drafting a quarterback. Like I said, have it be it's a 4-way battle royale. You got Mason and Haskins. Those are your two. You got the vet that, hey, worst case scenario, you're the safe gap. And then we got our guy in the wings. That fourth guy, that rookie guy that we draft, where it's like, yo, if you come in here, because think about this, right? When Russell Wilson went to Seattle, was he a first-round quarterback, second round?
What was he, third? I think it was third.
I thought it was fourth.
It might have been.
But either way, when he got there wasn't a ton of expectations. It was who? You're supposed to be Matt Flynn, who was the veteran signing. You had Tavares Jackson, who was the in-house promotion. And then I forgot, it might have been one other person out there. But then after that, you draft Russell Wilson. All those guys competed for it. It just so happened that Russ won it. For me, I'm cool with that. I'm like, man, you bring your mid-tier veteran quarterback. You got your in-house guys already. Then you draft the guy, let it play out. It doesn't cost a ton. You're not killing yourself in terms of money-wise or cap-wise or draft-wise. Because if this quarterback does beat those guys, we already got your guy. If not, you still got a good quality backup from the guys that we've been talking about. You have a good quality guy in the sense that, hey, he's in the system. You can develop him. We already know he has something that we like about him. And then you just hope that you can get even more out of him. But to me, I just think that we don't have to pigeonhole it to this or that or that. I think that you could have some type of combination.
Yeah, with your scenario, I don't think you're taking a guy early. That's all.
Yeah.
If you're bringing in the free agent guy.
If we bring in a free agent, I'm looking mid rounds. I don't want to wait till 6th, 7th round because I don't.
You're talking like Ritter.
Yeah,
maybe.
I'm talking like the Ritters. I'm talking just name purposes, the Carson Strongs and Bailey's, like name wise. Yeah. Obviously, we would dictate and go back and look through and have a better decision on, hey, do you like this guy as a third rounder or a fourth rounder? You know, does that change?
Yeah, I don't
the
think
dynamic?
Howe's going to be there. Howe or Corral. I don't think they're lasting.
I don't
that
either.
long.
Heck no. I think
Ritter would be the top end. Like if he's going in the third round at some point, maybe you look at him.
Now imagine if you have Ritter here, you have Haskins, you have Mason, and then you brought in Mariota. I am completely fine with that quarterback room competing to get it out. And I think that we would still feel good with whoever emerged from there also, because it's like, yo, we had variety, we have this, and we also have an in-house guy going forward in terms of Desmond Ritter. So that's kind of like my thought process with it, man.
Antoine Patterson, he's back again. Says the most 412. I guess he's commenting or replying to someone else in the chat. He says we need KCH. I'm assuming he means Casey Hampton type or first round O guy probably offensive line, I gotta say.
Okay. I'm hoping it's Casey Hampton. I was thinking Casey Hayward, the corner that was out in what was that, San Diego for a while?
For a little bit.
Yeah. I was thinking about him. I ain't all right. Well, if it's Big Snack, I mean, obviously Big Snack. I mean, you can never go wrong with a player of that caliber. Whew.
Yeah. I'd love to have him. You know?
This is my only thing. He would have to be dominant though. Like it has to be to that level because we don't use him to. You ain't a third down dude. So if you taking him early, like how you take Camp, you gonna need to have that type of productivity out the break. That's all I'm saying.
I have some great advice for us. Let's draft a guy like Polamalu. Let's draft a guy like Lawrence Timmons.
Hey, there we go.
Let's draft the next Ike Taylor.
We
in the
need a
fourth
TJ Watt, bro. Can we get another TJ? Just draft a TJ. I wish.
My dad said the one time we were watching Kansas City in one of their playoff games a couple years back, and Travis Kelce catches a ball.
We need to get one of them guys.
Yeah. Oh yeah, no shit. Yeah, no shit.
Because
I'd love him.
Because when they say, "Yo, why don't we got a Burrow and a Jamar Chase?" You know that one went 1 overall and he went 5 overall. Yeah, that's why we don't have those type of players, man. Yeah, it's different. That's all. Those players they're not out there. Just, we were signing on the street. Oh, yeah. No. That is not how that works. Okay? It's not how it works.
Farron Bradford. Wild card. But it could be another year for first. What do you think? Oh, this was the comment you already said, right? Mm-hmm. Oh, no. I'm sorry.
No, I haven't read this. No.
I thought he was making a joke here. What do you think the likelihood is we walk away with Muma and Beavers? I think Beavers' agility may drop him to the third, giving us a chance. Yeah, we talked about like third round.
Yeah, honestly,
both of them.
I mean, if we got both, it would be dope. I would have an issue though if we addressed linebacker second and third round, and we haven't addressed offensive line in any capacity, and this is including free agency. That's the only reason why, like I said, we're talking about it now. It's still a little premature, just because we don't know free agency wise what we will check off our boxes just yet.
Yeah.
Because you imagine, man, if we take 2 linebackers, we take a quarterback or whatever in the first round, but we really never address O-line to the third or to the fourth round.
Yeah,
we're gonna be pissed, man. We would be hot. So that's my only thing with that. So if they did take our O-line, I'm for that scenario. Because once again, you're not just increasing the quality of talent in that room in terms of starters, in terms of Chad Muma, but also you have really good depth when you bring in a guy like Darian, because he is going to bring something different than the other guys have right now. So, yeah, I could see that, man.
Q. Moats, you got to look up Channing Tindall.
Yeah. He's on my list. He is definitely on my list. I haven't got to him yet, but he's on my list. I appreciate you. And I'm going to take a picture of your comment so that way whenever I do talk about him, I can make sure I give you some credit. All right? I like to give credit where credit is due.
Antoine Patterson, MVP of the show, I think.
Nah, he's showing major love, man. Shout out to you, Anton. Absolutely.
Bush is done. He said it's mental. He's scared to be hurt.
Did he say it? I haven't heard any.
No, I think it was the opposite. From that interview, I remember.
Yeah.
Remember, he was like,
yeah,
Buddy Johnson, it's good to get him out there, get him some snaps.
He needed some reps. While I was like, no, it's not what you want to say. No.
There was a couple other things that were funny from that interview.
I would never forget. Oh, yeah, we wanted him to get out there and get some experience. Like, Devin, no. Man. But regardless of what was the biggest contributing factor to Devin's lack of productivity this season, just linebacker to linebacker, NFL player to NFL player, fan to fan, or fan to player. Don't repeat whatever you did now, because this whole, it was the knee. This whole, he was still mentally worried about, whatever. It was stunting his growth, the development, whatever, all that stuff. You could use that this season. This was the grace period. Okay, you got a chance to see some real grace period. This is when you hear players like me and other guys like Vince, we say, yo, politics at times. Not guys like us, later round guys, you don't get that luxury. You got to be on. So just as a guy who's accustomed to being in high pressure situations every single season, if you Devin, please, I don't care what you did last year, do not repeat that this year. Okay, if it was social media, don't deal with social media. If it was, whatever, just get it out your life. Get back where you need to be, because honestly, man, you can't have another season looking like how he was looking out here. You can't do it. Nah, I'm just throwing it out there. But he has to know this. This isn't, I don't have to say this. He has to know this as well.
He didn't know the team we were playing.
I know. I don't, listen, I have turned the corner on Devin. You know how everybody was, I was hard on, at the same time, I'm like, I'm trying to have so much compassion that, this is your offseason, Devin. Please, Devin. This is your moment. That's where I'm at right now with him, man. This is where I'm at.
We need it.
Yeah, because we do. And he's too talented to not play like that. That's my thing. If you weren't talented, yeah, no one cares. But it's like, you're talented. You are good enough to do that. But you got to actually do it. We can't keep hanging on to what you did your first year. We can't keep hanging on to the potential. That's just the nature of it, man.
Baron Bradford. Oh, I like this one. It says, also, Darian brings attitude, moxie, and a winner's mentality. Mm-hmm. A shift in mentality is needed amongst our inside linebacker group. I agree with him on that. You could see that right off the bat.
No, yeah, absolutely, man. Absolutely. Certain guys, man, they just are natural leaders, natural vocal leaders. Some guys lead by example, but Darian, man, he definitely, it shows up. And you talk about the winning, yeah. At Cincinnati, same thing we talked about with Desmond, like, man, they've won a lot of games. They've been in some very significant big games as well. It's important because, man, some guys, they do get different when the lights hit. They do act a little weird when they know, oh, man, this is supposed to be a good team you're playing against, even at the professional level. I know people don't think, oh, man, y'all would never, guys don't get hurt. That guy's not going to change how he feels. It's such as like, no. Guys will be affected by the bright lights. You all of a sudden, now it's dark outside, and then you see that ESPN crane. Some guy, they started doing that, looking around. You like, hey, bro, cut it out. We ain't doing that today. You know what I mean? So with Darian, yeah, man, he does have a little bit of confidence. I like that. I like that a lot about him, man.
Yeah. Well, I think we're all caught up.
Now, this was dope, man. This was fun. Dude, and it was 3 hours. I don't even know how that happened right there. Holy moly.
That was good, man.
Hey, man. But with that being said, man, big time shout out to everybody that was with us today, man.
Oh, yeah.
Shout out to the chat, man. Y'all keep coming through with great content, man. Great just interaction. So we appreciate y'all for that. Like I said, man, keep sending your prospect names that you want players broken down. Keep sending them to the email address, moatsiswinners@gmail.com. I will keep grinding the tapes for you. We'll talk about them when we get in here, man, as well. But yeah, with that being said, dude, appreciate you for tuning in.
Oh, yeah.
And until next time, baby.
Peace.